Maybe. You're on. Welcome to Benchmonster TV. I am Ryan, the Benchmonster Kennelly.
And I'm Ashley Lynn Condre. Thanks for joining us here today.
As many of you know, if you haven't been on social media or anywhere, we have a special guest tonight. Our first guest is Tiny Meeker. Yes. And we want to get things rolling quickly. I have a lot to talk about, and no time to waste.
No.
I like to, before I introduce Tiny, I like to go over some of his accomplishments. I have 4 pages here of crazy bench press information that I like to go over real quick as we sit here. Let's see. I'm gonna start right at the top here. Everybody can hear us. I hope we're all good.
I hope so.
Okay. We'll have to wait and see.
Right.
In 1998, Tiny bench pressed 540 pounds, weighing 280. It was a raw bench and world record in the Nassau Federation. 1999, he bench pressed 606 at 275, APA world record. In the year 2000, he bench pressed 661 at super heavyweight APF bench bash for cash, second place. In the year 2000, he bench pressed 656.7 pounds at 275, a world record and Wabdal world champion tested. In 2003, Tiny bench pressed 677 pounds at 275, APA state record. In 2004, Tiny bench pressed 744 at 308, a WABDL Federation tested division. In 2004, Tiny bench pressed 800.5 at 308. It was an APA world record and first person to bench press 800 pounds in a single ply and drug tested. I remember that lift. In 2005, Tiny bench pressed 843.2 pounds at 308 at the WABDL Open and Submaster tested division. 2005, Tiny bench pressed 870.7 pounds at 308 at the Wabdal Open and Submaster tested division. That was page 1. This is awesome.
A lot of accolades.
On February 17th, 2006, Tiny bench pressed 942 at 308 at the Fit Expo in Pasadena, California, smashing Scott Mendelson's all-time record of 914, heaviest triple bodyweight bench ever. I was at that meet. Yeah, I remember it.
Cool.
It was a fast bench press, too. There was more in the tank. I remember that day. Tiny was now the all-time 308 world bench press world champion. On August 12th, 2006, Tiny bench pressed 900 pounds, becoming the first man in history to bench press 900 in a single-ply shirt and drug tested. In 2007, Tiny bench pressed 900.4 pounds at super heavyweight in a single-ply shirt, Wabdal Worlds Open, Submaster, and Elite World Records, and champion tested. In 2008, world record benched 600 times 11 reps at the Europa Super Lifting Show. That was a cool show. I wasn't there for that, but that was awesome. 2008, world record benched 600 times 13 reps at the Mr. Olympia Super Lifting Show. Jesus.
Oh,
in 2008, Tiny bench pressed 900.4 pounds at super heavyweight in a double ply shirt, Wabdal Worlds Open and Submasters World Champion and record tested. In 2009, Wabdal record benched, world record benched 800.4 times 4 reps and 606 times 14 reps, super lifting world records. Jeez, repetitions in the shirt. I'm not very good at that. 2009, Tiny bench pressed 900.4 pounds at 308 in a single ply shirt, WABDL Worlds Open, Submaster, and Elite records and champion tested. 2009, Tiny bench pressed 903 at 308 in the ISA and ISSA world record. 2010, Tiny bench pressed 1,003 pounds at super heavyweight, CHP biggest bench on the river. Reed Boucher's meet, I believe. 2010, Tiny bench pressed 1,047 pounds at super heavyweight, CHP biggest bench on the river. Number 1 ranked bench press in Powerlifting USA for 2009 and 10. In 2012, Tiny bench pressed 881.7, a super heavyweight world record masters 40 to 46 tested division. 2012, Tiny bench pressed 909.2 pounds at super heavyweight, Wabdal world champion open and masters 40 to 46 records and double ply tested. In 2012, he was inducted into Wabdal Hall of Fame. That's awesome. In 2013, Tiny bench pressed 914 pounds, 0.7. Super heavyweight, Wabdal world champion, open and masters, 40 to 46 records in a double ply. 2013 NPA World Champion in, it's Russia. How do you pronounce?
Ekaterinburg.
Ekaterinburg, Russia.
Me on the spot there.
I'm sorry. Yeah. In 2013, Tiny bench pressed 1,076.9 at the super heavyweight division, SPF all-time world bench press record. 2014, 1,080 pounds at super heavyweight, CHP all-time world bench press record. 2014, 1102 at super heavyweight, CHP all-time world record bench press. Jeez. 2014, this is a cool one. 1250 misload, biggest bench press attempt ever. Lift was no good. That's crazy. We'll have to talk about that story when we get Tiny on here. And at the end here, 2016, inducted into the York Barbell Hall of Fame. Awesome.
Jeez.
Whew.
That's a lot of accomplishments.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Jeez. I'm winded. Okay. Let's, I have a little slideshow here. And before I got an introduction here, and I'm going to introduce Tiny. And I got it written out here, of course. But I'm going to play this little slideshow of pictures that I pulled off the internet and that Tiny sent me. And as you're watching that, I'll describe everything here in the introduction, and then we'll bring on Tiny Meeker. So let's bring on the slideshow. And then I'll start talking, of course. My first guest ever is 49 years old, and he's been lifting since he was 12 years old. He started powerlifting at age 15. He lifted in over 20 federations. He is the first person to bench press 800 and 900 in a single ply shirt. The first person to bench press 1,100 pounds. He holds the reps record for repping 600, 700, 800 pounds with pauses. He held the all-time world record at 308 in super heavy and held the highest triple body weight bench press. He's trained over 90 world champions and has been promoting and directing meets for over 15 years. He was inducted to the York Barbell Hall of Fame in 2016. He even has the highest bench press attempt of all time, 1250, and lived to talk about it. He co-owns Monster Gym in Kingwood, Texas, with world-class nutritionist Nathan Payton, and he has his own day in Humble, Texas, August 12th, this Tiny Meeker Day in Humble, Texas. My first guest ever on Benchmonster TV, Tiny Meeker. Tiny, are you with us?
What?
He's there.
Think of that.
He's already drinking.
Already drinking. Wow.
Man, that was so awesome. I had to celebrate. Sorry, you got to do one, Ryan. Sorry.
Let me.
It's
It's a little early. I do have something, but it's just not yet. Oh, wow.
Man, I am honored to be here. Thank you so much.
This is exciting, Tiny.
Here.
This is really
very
cool.
exciting. The very first guest we've had.
Yeah, well, you know, we have a ton of questions for you, and Ashley's going to read those as we go.
Just get right into it.
I like you first at a lot of things, so it's a good thing.
we just got we have a lot of questions.
We had a lot of questions.
So
Should
we're
we
gonna
just get right into them, or
can we throw them at you, Tiny,
is there
right off the
anything
bat?
that you'd like to add before we start? Anything you want to say?
Let me loosen up a little bit.
Listen up.
I want to go.
Okay.
Before we
wait.
interrogate you.
Think of my interrogation. Can't go on,
there
baby.
you go.
Slow it down.
Okay.
Whoa.
Oh no.
Hey, no, don't get me started, son.
Oh God.
Hey,
Wait, let's roll these babies up.
I just want one side rolled up. That's where I'm going.
All right.
Oh, you want to do that? See?
That's right.
You do that here too.
Oh jeez.
All right.
Okay, you're
Bring it on.
almost elbowing me.
I'm sorry. Hey, we have to share a screen here.
I know,
we're gonna be
Okay,
close.
Before you start, I first got to say thank you so much for your dedication to my mother. That was amazing. That was awesome. Brought tears to my eyes, but man, honestly, God, it made me feel so much better the next day. So let's get that out of the way. I just want to tell you thank you so much, and thank you for everyone for your prayers and support, and glad to be here.
Thank you, Tiny. I appreciate that.
Yeah, we're so glad that you're here.
Yeah, we're so glad that you're here. Wow.
All right.
I got fuzz flowing around here.
We got like cat hair and.
Yeah, my hat is shedding. Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, it's from your hat.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
no.
Tiny, we're gonna throw some questions
We're gonna
at you.
start throwing some questions.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. So when and how did you get into weightlifting in general, and how did you get introduced into powerlifting and competitive bench pressing especially?
I started powerlifting my sophomore year in high school at Humble High School. Coach Doug Orball was the powerlifting coach. I played football, I played basketball, and didn't want to do track, so I got introduced to powerlifting, and I love to lift weights. But I actually started lifting weights probably when I was 8, 9 years old with the Sears Roebuck concrete plates, that were wrapped in plastic.
Very cool. Nice.
my dad had some weight, so I just started picking them up. And you watch wrestling, and you want to be big like those guys, and there you go.
Very cool. Very cool. How much did you bench press in high school? Your freshman year and your senior year?
My freshman year, I didn't play football anymore. I kind of got mad at my coaches when I was in 8th grade, so I just wanted to play basketball. But I probably weighed about 240, and I benched probably around 250 pounds. My sophomore year, I was 240, benching 280. My junior year, I was 165, benching 300. In my senior year, I was 181, benching 350. In my first year in college, I was 220, benching 420.
Wow.
Wow.
So you're just like good at it right from the beginning. Like it was just kind of natural.
Bench press was always my thing, yes.
That was your jam.
But I like to do it all.
Very cool. Let's see. I was going to ask how much you weighed in high school, but she kind of already answered that. So I'll go on to the next question. Did you play sports in high school? If so, which ones?
I played football, I played basketball, of course, powerlifting, but I also did drama.
Really?
Oh, really? Interesting.
So I'm a great actor.
Okay. When was your first powerlifting comp? How much did you bench, and what shirt did you use?
Wow. Well, my school didn't have any powerlifting equipment whatsoever, so we were doing everything raw. I think my bench was probably around 300. My squat was probably close to 5, and my deadlift was probably close to 5.
Wow.
Damn.
Jeez. Very cool. Well, so that kind of leads right into my next question. Do you squat and deadlift? And what is the most you've ever squatted and deadlifted?
Woo! Well, I've had multiple car accidents, unfortunately, over my years, and that's pretty much most of my injuries. So I don't do normal squats anymore. Probably the last contest squat I did a USAPL meet years ago where I was going after the bench record and stuff, and I did a 606 raw. But with safety squat, I definitely go over 1,000 pounds. I do belt squats with over 1,500. My deadlifts, I still pull close to 700, but I'm pretty much in that mid 600 range, full range.
Wow. Very impressive.
Damn.
Not just a bench press specialist. You got it all. Very cool.
Not just a bench specialist. It's the only thing I like to compete in push pull. And at one time, I actually had the push pull total record as well.
Really? That kind of
That's
leads
an
into my
FPL.
next question. We were going to ask, have you ever done a full power meet or a push pull meet?
Well, full meets. I did full meets for USAPL, also when it was ADFPA, and for NASA. I think I may have done USPF as well years ago. I haven't done a full meet since my car wrecks because I just can't get my arms on a regular bar anymore. Actually, I take that back. I think when I first did around 800, that's when I tried to do my last full meet with the USAPL, and then I went to their nationals for the bench, and then when things went sour there, I decided not to do the full meets anymore.
Okay.
And just stick more to the push-pull. So my last push-pull meet, if it was the day I did the 1076,
Oh, wow.
I pulled 600 something, and I benched 1076
Oh, you
on the same
did?
day.
I didn't realize that.
Wow.
Wow. That's
Yeah, if you go to SPF records, you'll go for push-pull, you'll see the 1076, and I think I pulled either 606 or 611 raw.
Damn.
Wow. Very impressive. What advice can you offer new lifters to help them increase their bench press?
First and foremost, perfect form. You got to learn perfect form. You don't learn perfect form, you're just going to you're always going to make gains because you're fresh, but you're never going to see what you really could have done if you don't learn the form. The next thing is big back, big triceps, big bench. You know, it's not all about doing chest. Chest is great. To me, chest is incline, decline, stuff like that. But big back, big tries, you're going to have a big bench.
Very good advice. Very good. Thank you. What is your training split? How many times a week do you bench?
I only bench one day a week. My Sundays is bench press. I do bench and tries. My Tuesday is leg night, and my Thursday is back. Maybe some shoulders, maybe some biceps, but that's the only days we lift on.
Wow. Okay.
Lots of rest.
What type of music do you listen to when you train?
Like metal, I like hip hop. Like metal and hip hop.
All right, metal and hip hop. All right. Do you use pre-workout? If so, which one do you like to take before you work out?
Well, unfortunately, since I went into AFib, I don't do too many pre-workouts and stuff, which was a couple years ago, or it was actually last year. But if I do, bank pretty good one, sugar free and stuff. But other than that, pretty much don't do any pre-workouts and don't do too much protein either.
Okay. What lifting injuries have you suffered from during your career, during your very long career? I'm sure you've had many injuries.
Well, most of them aren't lifting, though. Most of my injuries are from car wrecks, and that's pretty much why you haven't seen me since 2016, because I had 3 car wrecks in 5 months in 2017. So I'm pretty much just now, in my mind, really getting back to where I want to be. But I couldn't bench. I couldn't do legs. I could do back work, and I could ride a bike. So I decided to get on a good diet. Nathan Payton put me on a good diet, and I went from 340 down to about 279.
Oh, wow.
Now I'm probably, right now, sitting in front of you, I'm probably 303, but I want to be more in the 280 range to low 290s walking around, and I want to go compete at 275 if I return.
Okay, all right. What do you enjoy doing when you're not at the gym? What are some of your other hobbies? I know basketball. I was just going to say, I've been watching you on Facebook. You're a dunking champion.
Basketball. Tiny likes to dance. I'm a dancing fool. And, just hang out with some friends, drink some good tequila.
Nice.
I've seen you on the dance floor before at some clubs when we, our post-fight party, post-lifting parties at Wabdell back in the day. This guy's got some moves, let me tell you. I wasn't out there, but yeah, he can get jiggy with it.
Still do the splits.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. You gotta show me that sometime.
Well, come on down to Texas. We'll have some fun. Hopefully the virus will be gone and we can actually go to
hopefully
enjoy ourselves.
Yes. One of these days we're gonna come visit and it's gonna be a good time. All right. Ooh, I like this question. What is your favorite moment in your powerlifting career?
Woo!
A lot of them.
Definitely getting the York barbell was above and beyond, because no matter what haters wanted to say, because no matter what we do in life, there's always going to be haters if you're successful.
Right.
But when I got put in the Hall of Fame, that just took me to a whole nother level. I mean, kind of funny for hometown, getting my own day.
Yeah, that's
was
so
kind of
cool.
Because my dad used to tell me, "Oh, what are you gonna do? Weightlifting, you ain't gonna do this." I got the key to the city, Dad. Actually, I got my name named after a day, but I didn't get the key yet. So, Humble, if you're out there, I want my key. There you go.
That's really cool that you have your own day. I love it.
Tiny Meeker Day. That's awesome. Jesus.
Very cool. Now, what is your least favorite moment in your powerlifting career?
Man, that's a hard one. Least favorite moment in powerlifting. Went to Finland one meet for, we could have won $15,000, $30,000. You won first. I mean, realistically, I could have played it extremely careful and probably walked away with $15,000. And unfortunately, I lost my dad a couple weeks before that. So mentally wasn't there. Went there and things kind of fell apart. I think the time when the 1250 misload happened, that was very depressing, because we were on the biggest stage in the world, in my opinion, the Arnold Classic. And, if I could have got the world record that day in front of 100,000 people, that would have been mind-boggling. So to me, that's probably my biggest disappointment ever was, it's kind of like when you got the world record. You knew that day, take you for Ryan, for example, when you got the world record, you knew that day you were going to hit that record probably, right?
No.
I'm so hear you say that, man. I've seen you, when you're in that mindset. I've seen you at meets where Rob was talking trash to you one day, going, "I'm gonna break your record." You just kind of laughed at him, like, "Yeah, good luck with that."
That's true. But the first time I set the world record was over in the Ukraine, and that was a tough trip. I didn't know what I was going to do there. I remember because Rob Leondo was benching first, and I kept an eye on him because we had the time difference change. They had a hoof and mouth disease over there, so that we had calf liver and wine and cheese. Finding food was hard. The venue was awesome, but it was 150 degrees. We're warming up in the dark. And I just remember I watched Rob Leondo open with 902 at 275 or something, or maybe it's 940. Wow. And he popped it up, and I'm like, well, if he's got it, then I hope I got it. Then, of course, I went out. That's true story. Then I went out and did the 940 and 986 and then 1036. But that second comment you made about Rob Leondo taking my record, that was at the Iowa. Yeah, Carpenter's meet, and I was ready that day. I mean, there was no. I was opening with 10:10, so confidence was high. But there were some shenanigans at that meet that I'm not. We won't go into at this point, but I was told it was a Forza bench, and then I'm not meaning to take up your time, Tiny. I have a
No. Go
We're not
ahead.
doing
Okay.
too bad on time.
Rob Leondo said, "Oh, come out to this meet. Carpenter's putting on it." And I goes, "Is it a Forza bench?" Because I'm a Forza guy. And he goes, "It's Forza bench." And then a week out, he tells me it's Forza specs. So I show up out there, and it's actually a Metal Militia bench. It's about an inch lower than a Forza. Carpet on the platform. And I remember I didn't have Stickum on my shoes for the opening of 10:10. And 10:10 took probably 15 seconds to put up. I mean, it was just a grinder. Yeah,
Wow.
and then I went 1074, and I remember they sprayed so much of that string sticky stuff on my shoes. In the video, it's funny because when I put my right foot down, I couldn't pick it up. It was stuck to the ground. And I swear, I had to use diesel fuel to get it off because it was that thick on the bottom of my chucks. But I didn't mean to take up your time, Tommy. I have a tendency to ramble and tell stories. I'm sorry.
No, we're doing good on
That's
time.
what everyone wants to hear, man. This is awesome.
Yeah, share whatever stories you got. Let's see. When you first started out, what lifters did you look up to?
Wow. Well, first and foremost, definitely Anthony Clark. To be honest, I really want to be, Anthony's from Houston. He's from Texas, and he's one of the kindest guys you ever met. If you ever met Anthony, he definitely left something with you there when he walked away. My first meet out of high school, he was actually there, and he benched 600 for 8 reps in front of everyone. And I didn't think I had a great meet. I got second, but I wasn't happy with what I did, not even close. And here's Anthony, who really didn't know me at the time, pulls me aside, talks to me for about 10, 15 minutes. I videotaped the whole interview and stuff and gave me all kinds of tips of training and this and that. And man, you got to look up that forever because he was the best of the best at the time. And here I was a nobody, in my opinion. And here you are talking to me. So I want to be like that. If someone comes up to me and wants to talk to me, or ask for pictures, I could be all jacked up, ready to go do a lift, and people walk up, "Hey, take a picture of my daughter." Okay, or if anything, I'll say, "Hey, man, just give me a second. Let me do this. I promise you, we'll take the picture." But when it comes to certain advice, if it's quick, right in front of me, talk to me. I love doing it. I love coaching. So, but Anthony Clark, definitely someone to look up to. Bob Garza is the first man that really coached me and got me prepared in powerlifting. Even though our thought processes changed later on, still I would have never got where I was without his coaching in the beginning, and I totally thank him. A lot of people may not know Bob Garza, but the guy benched 547 at 57 years old, way back in the days before we had these crazier shirts and stuff. So he was an amazing lifter that unfortunately we never would have seen what this guy could have really done because he had some pretty bad injuries. I'd say them too.
Okay. And who do you think is the future of this sport? Are there any upcoming lifters that you just think are going to take over the scene?
Well, it's funny. Will just got my record, and of course that's going to be a future and stuff. But the person I actually thought was going to get it first would have been Jimmy Cobb. And Jimmy's incredible. And when I'm watching his training videos, because he posts a lot of them, and I watch it, and the thing as I'm watching, I almost hate I tell this information because sometimes I feel like I'm giving too much info on this. But hey, records are made to be broken, and if I can tell someone something and it helps them get there to another level, as long as they come back and say, "Hey, Tiny Meeker said this," I greatly appreciate that. Because I would love to coach someone to break my record. That to me, that's more fun to do that than do it myself because it's like, hey, I took you there. But Jimmy is doing a lot of things I've done where you're going above and beyond what you ever thought you could do. He's repping stuff. He's holding his hands. But right now, as you see, as he lifts, he puts in a rack, and sometimes he can't get his hand off the bar. And I'm sure you probably had those days, Ryan. Or he gets off and he almost collapses. But there's a movement through this where eventually that's going to stop. And when he's able to get that weight out, take that breath while he's holding it, and go into the lift, man, he's going to go to a whole nother freaking level. You talk about the reps earlier when you did my intro, and you were saying there was something you were not good at. To me, the repetitions made me the lifter I turned into, because then you had to get used to holding that weight, learning how to breathe again, rep it. It wasn't boom, boom, boom. It was press. You actually had to pause them on you, you know. So, and the thing is once you heard the press, you want to get off you as fast as you can to go right back down to get the pause again. So, you know, Jimmy to me is definitely the future. And of course, come on, man, Neutron, Dave Hoff. I mean, what can Dave not do?
Right?
Very impressive.
Lifter, yes.
And, you know, Kolb, you know, has a tremendous amount of ability, time under tension. I mean, the way he holds and handles weights and stays under them from long periods of time and grinds them out. I mean, just that's a feat you don't see too often. I never had that ability too much. I was like trying to get it off my chest as fast as possible, you know. But he's an impressive athlete. And we met him at the Arnold, and he was a cool cat. And big things ahead of him, man. And if he trains smart and stays injury free, and he's a smart kid, you know, only time will tell. And Neutron, man. It wouldn't surprise me if I turned on the TV one day and he benches 1,200. I mean, that guy's a beast himself.
Yeah, I mean, when Dave walks in the room, and like I was saying earlier about confidence, when Dave walks in, he's so freaking confident. Even if he's freaking out, the dude is confident. I mean, I don't think he ever thinks he's ever going to lose.
That's true. I think he's done 3 or 4 3,000 plus total meets. Don't quote me on that. I don't know. I should have that information in front of me, but I don't. Sorry, Dave.
There'll be another interview.
Yeah.
Exactly. What is the most you've ever benched raw?
Well, if I really want to go my most ever in a gym, I'd say probably close to 660, 670.
Oh, shit. I don't need to chime in, but I saw you at Wabdo Worlds 2006 November. And you did the same warm-up I did, and I think 606 or 605, I saw you blast that up like 135. That was in the warm-up room. So I saw it.
But that's the days when we could only bench 700 in a shirt.
That's true. God, that's true. Boy, isn't that funny how shirts have advanced? I mean, back in the day, you know, you had to have a 6 raw bench basically to bench 7 in a shirt. And then of course the shirts, you know, became more advanced, and so did the lifts. But 660 in the gym, dude, that's badass.
I think what a lot of us did, I think a lot of us back in the old days, and there's still some guys that still do it. They want to look great in the warm-up room as good as they look out on the platform. And one thing I learned later on, even though my higher warm-ups are pretty insane, my warm-up to get there is much, much lower than its insane jumps. So
Yeah, I want to touch on that briefly because you mentioned to me one time how you warm up to 300 without the shirt, and then you put the shirt on and go to 900. You skip everything between 3 and 9. You told me that multiple times. I think Mendelson kind of does the same thing. I have never tried that. I know it conserves energy and everything, but it seems to me I like to have a gradual progression and feel the weight in my hands, and maybe I need to get over that and try it your way sometime in the gym and go from 300 right to 900. I've never done it. I still to this day have not done it. And you've told me that probably 10 years ago, you know?
Yep.
No shit.
Well, come down to Houston and we'll go have some fun.
Oh, it's on the list of things to do. Trust us.
It definitely is on our list, for sure. Especially once all this crap is over.
Yeah, whenever that may be.
We can make plans and trips and stuff. Okay.
Well, yeah.
What are your favorite tricep exercises / assistance exercises?
Ooh, skull crushers are fun sometimes. I like them with the curl bar, you know. But actually, I do something at the end of all my workouts on bench day. We get to the cables, and I get the bar that kind of, you know, does this. It's straight, and it kind of curves, and I do 5 sets of 10. And actually, let me correct myself. There's 5 different exercises, and there's 10 reps on each one. And after every set, you add weight. So we do 3 sets of it. So it's all one round. So you'll be on the curve, you do 10 reps, flip it over, 10 reps, close grip, 10 reps, go to the rope, 10 over, and then 10 right in front of you. That's all one set.
Oh, wow. And
by the last round, you're doing the whole stack. So to me, that's my favorite tricep exercise because it hits every bit of that tricep,
right.
You know.
A lot of volume there, too.
A lot of volume.
Anything, I know you talked about his reverse bench.
Oh,
Is that something?
Yeah, we talked about Anthony Clark earlier. Reverse grip bench press. I just recently did it on video. I haven't done it probably since 2003, and the most I've ever done. It's hard to get the hands over now. I found there's so much arthritic things going on in the wrist these days. But I did 500 pounds once, and sometimes I'll do the reverse grip on boards and such. Did you do any of that, or have?
These days, ain't no way in hell. I mean, it's hard enough trying to get change, going through the drive-through. Can you just roll it up and put it in my hand, please? But, I mean, that's the most my hands will turn. I'm actually a little bit more flexible to get my shoulders back some. But now I haven't done reverse bench probably since the Bally's Total Fitness days, which is a very long time ago. And probably my boast might have been 550, maybe 585. But
wow.
Man, I haven't done them forever.
Wow.
What about reverse band press? Do you do that at all?
And you're talking about from the bands under the bench,
no,
correct?
From the top. Reverse
from
the
top.
Lighten method. I know you're very. You got a lot of videos of doing like 1,200 reverse band presses and stuff. That's an impressive movement. I do that somewhat. I've never gone that heavy on the reverse band, but how often? I know in a lot of your videos you do the reverse band a lot. Is that a major movement in your training?
Well, what I do is, and how I got to the point to bench 1,000 was we started doing reverse bands. And basically what we were doing, we were sitting up where the weight come out, and when the weight comes out, you're feeling every bit of that weight. And of course, as you go down, the bands start kicking in. And if you come up explosive, the bands will go with you. If you just kind of grind it, you're not going to get nothing out. It's just like if you take a rubber band, you pull it, and you let it come back holding it, you're not going to get enough. If you let it go, it's going to fly. So in the process of getting to 1,000, I would go first trying to fill 1,000, try to fill 11, try to fill 12. And then what I started doing is I'm getting closer. I started backing off how much bands I was using. So we may start off with 120-pound bands, and then go to a 75-pound band or a 100-pound band, 75, 40. Next thing you know, there's no bands.
Oh,
wow.
Because I've already trained my mind, my body to absorb all that pain and go through it again. So I remember Harley Timms actually saw me one day. I posted a video, and he goes, "Did I just see you do a video without no bands?" I go, "Oh, you caught that,
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, we did 1,000 at the biggest bench on the river.
Nice.
so as the meet approaches, the band tension becomes lighter and lighter, or use less bands. Is that kind of the ticket?
Well, unfortunately, now I'm beyond that. So we'll kind of take the example right now because I'm coming through an injury. I tore my labrum and stuff in the car wreck. So yes, we were first doing bands and filling, with 100 or 120-pound band, and trying to fill 1,000 pounds, going high as 1,200. So that way my hands are getting used to it. And now we're starting to back off. Now, I still don't know when I'm going to compete or if I'm going to compete, but I want to work with, trying to go full range in a shirt again, or to get to the part where I'm not doing bands. So really right now, it's kind of let my body tell me how I feel. If I'm achy, I'm going to do more band reverse stuff like that. As I start feeling good, I'm going to go more off to boards with no bands and feel the actual weight, the full range of it. Understand? But if we're going to a contest, I'd say at 4 weeks out, I want full range lifting. I want to try to see what I can max out. But if we're 6 weeks further, I'm going crazy as heck as I can with bands as heavy as I can. But as we get closer to show, I'm backing off. I'm trying to let my body heal. I'm trying to work on speed. And so 4 weeks out, I have a good idea what I'm going to max out. If I don't know my opener, I got 3 more weeks to work on opener. If everything worked perfect on 4 weeks, I'm completely backing off, working on speed only. No more heavy benching. I'll let my body heal. So showtime, I'm fresh as hell, and magic's going to happen that day.
Nice.
What is your favorite bench bar?
Texas Power Bar, the tiny Meeker Power Bar.
Oh, all right. That's an
I
easy
need
one.
to get one of those.
Yeah, we.
Yeah. Is there a discount for Benchmonster TV?
We'll contact them tomorrow.
What do you do to get your big forearms?
big benches. I mean, I really don't. The only thing we really do is more hammer curls, maybe sometimes once a month. But realistically, it's more just going big benches. I mean, you're working the stabilizers, all that. And as long as you're going to feel big weight, your body's going to change. I mean, if you're a 242-pounder, it's going to be very difficult to stay down there as you start feeling, if you were a 600-pound bencher, next thing you know, you're feeling 800, 900 pounds, your body's going to change. So the most difficult part is trying to keep your body weight down because your body's just going to change.
Yeah. Handling big weights, your body, you got to adapts to it. Bones get bigger. I mean, your forearms get bigger. I mean, I think Mendelssohn's got pretty good sized forearms. You do, I do. I mean, I know Gus Ruthwich always said all the greatest benchers. This was a long time ago. We all know Gus, and Gus said all the greatest benchers have huge forearms. Arcidi, Tokarski, there's some names you don't hear very much anymore. But I remember Gus saying that, and when he told me that, it made me want to train them more often because I don't know if I looked up to Gus, So every time he spoke, I always jotted it down and took it to heart. So
I'd say a lot of my forearm works actually came from roofing as a kid, mostly to the end of, I'd say, 7th, 8th grade to half my years in high school. My dad had a roofing company, so I was always pulling up 50-gallon buckets of whatever to dump or put on the roof.
Oh, damn!
Wow.
Hated that
job. What was your favorite, most fun meet?
Favorite, most fun meet. Well, Biggest Bench River meets are always a blast. That's by Reed Boucher down in New Roads, Louisiana. And it's funny because it is a hole-in-the-wall town on the False River. And for many, many years, every big-name bencher was coming down there except for Ryan. And
I was invited many times, too.
But, I mean, it was kind of difficult to get there because there's no airport very close. So that may stop some people. But, I mean, you had Dave Waterman there, Gary Frank, Jesse Kellum, myself, Harley Timms, J.M. Blakey. I mean, the list just went on and on and on. I watched J.M. Blakely actually weigh in 242 at night, drop down to 219 to make the 220 class overnight. That was insane,
wow.
And, J.M. was just mind-boggling for many years, or actually for maybe a few years, not many. That guy came and gone, but he went 220 up to super heavyweight and went right back down again with world records. It was crazy.
What was? I don't mean to interrupt you, Tiny, but J.M. Blakely, I don't think I've ever met the man. Soft-spoken. I know he, back in the day, he used to write on his arms, and I think there was some type of Zen thing that he would do. I don't know much about him, but is he a cool cat?
We're always really nice, very quiet, like you said. So, I mean, there wasn't too many in-depth conversations, but he was really, really nice guy, always approachable, took pictures. I mean, I got some cool photos with him and stuff, but the end, just watching him change overnight was crazy, man.
Wow.
I mean, we're talking 20-something pounds overnight.
Wow. That's a huge cut.
That is huge.
Is that the last question?
Those
no way.
Yeah.
Okay.
You had like a bunch that you wanted
I had
to
a bunch,
ask,
but I want to talk.
I think we have time for that.
Well, I want to tell a story. Okay. I have a photo that Tiny sent me.
Okay.
And I'm going to post it, and there's a backstory to it. And I think it may be time for the, I hear a friend of mine 2 days ago, Carlo Trente, gave me this bottle of, what's it called? Terramana by Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Now, Tiny, Spaceballs. Yeah, I got it. I know you're a tequila drinker, so I brought this to the show because I think it's fitting, and I want to try it too, so we might want to do that. There goes Tiny. Let me give this a shot.
You know what time it is?
Well, I'm not doing a full shot. I'm just doing a little. It's pretty mellow. I know Dwayne The Rock Johnson can wrestle, but can he make tequila? Now, let's before we cheers, will this help my bench press? Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
I know it will.
It makes the bone stronger. It helps you sleep more. So sleep is recovery.
It is true.
Your bone strength is recovery,
true.
And it will help you with digestion too.
Looks like a urine sample, but we'll let me put. Oh, we doing it first, or are we gonna look at the picture first?
Let's do the picture.
Okay, here's the picture, Tiny. I don't know if you'll see this, but basically, the night started with tequila because I remember you bought me I'm gonna tell the story because you bought me a shot of tequila, and we're at a club, and I remember taking the shot, hitting the back of my throat, and throwing it up on a wall. If you remember that, that's true. And the night ended with Crown Royal, and we stayed out.
Crown Royal and Red Bull. Crown Royal and Red Bull
all night. We lifted the day before, or that night, or that day, and partied all night. And the picture, this is us. Well, I don't want to post it. I'm trying to get the backstory here. We left the club at, 6:30 in the morning?
I think it was between 6:30 and 7 in the morning, definitely, because we had to be back at the meet at 8 in the morning.
Because you had to lift off for somebody or something.
Something
okay.
like that. We had to be there.
So anyway, Tiny and I are pretty drunk, pretty lit, and tired. And we meander back to the venue where the meet is occurring in the audience section.
Wait, before you go there. So we're on the dance floor dancing, and all of a sudden I see what time it is. I go, hey, what time is it? And someone goes, like I said, 6:30, 6:45. I go, oh, okay, we'll keep dancing. Wait, what, 6:45? Wait, Bill's lifting. We got to go help Bill. We got to go watch Bill. So we start panicking. And this little girl goes, because we're trying to get a ride, she goes, I'll give you a ride. And we just stop and look at her and go, you're a very brave girl. And she drove us back to the Golden Nugget. So there you go. Nugget.
And then we went into the venue, and I'm going to post the picture. I tabletopped on top of a table, Tiny's in the booth there, and we passed out for, how long would we pass out for? About an hour? 45 minutes? 30? It wasn't long.
I was passed out. I wasn't looking at a watch.
Okay, well, I'll post it here and let people see what I'm talking about. Oh, wait, it's on my side of the damn screen. So, damn, is that going to work? Let's see. Yeah, well, hold on. Let me pop back over and so they can see it.
Oh, I see you.
Hold on a second. I got it. I got this. Let's do this. No, wait, can I not do it? Oh, no. This is going to suck. Okay. Well, obviously, I think that's me.
That's Ryan.
That's my ass. And Tiny's over. I don't want to take you out of the picture, Tiny, to see it. But, oh, crap. Damn Helen crap. But, yeah, I passed out. Tiny's over there, too. And, I'm
on the booth, and you're on top of the table. We're both out cold.
Yeah, that's such a great picture. I'm sure you can't get it.
Let me pop over here real quick.
Both of our screens.
Let me do something here. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Oh.
Tiny 66. Well, Tiny, I believe I got the picture up, and I don't know why that was comfortable to me. I mean, I'm just flattened out. My legs are extended across the booth there, and I was out. I mean, I was coherent to here, but the brain was done. I was done for the night. That is no bullshit. We bench press champions during day and party animals at night. Holy smokers. And to that, Tiny, I salute you. 2000, what was that? 2000 November.
Salute.
Well, that's not bad. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. That's kind of smooth. That's nice.
Well, that was
holy shit. That burns on the way down, dude. It's been a while. God darn it.
Maybe we'll switch to 42.
Well, I want to try some 42 when I come down.
Okay.
I'm impressed with "The Rock," though. This is pretty.
Is that pretty good?
Yeah. It's It's kind of floral. It's got a marrying of flavors. I'm impressed, Rock. I know you can wrestle and talk a good game.
Ryan.
What was that?
What was that, Tiny?
I think tequila is what should be sponsoring us from this point on. I mean, if they want to see us ever lift again, tequila should sponsor the event.
There you go.
I'm going to have to invest in a bottle of that if I don't get down to see it anytime soon.
No, not invest. They should invest in us.
Well,
T42 Don Julio.
I want to try that. I was impressed. Okay, I'm pretty lit now. I had a shot. When's the last time I had a tequila shot? Probably when I was out with Tiny. It's been a long while.
Have a sip, Brian. Here you go.
Hey, thanks, man. I'm tapping out, man. I'm a lightweight, man. I'm not a drinker, so. Woo. Yeah. No time to get behind the wheel. I'll tell you that. Wow. Oh. So, wow. I had some off-the-wall, quirky questions I wanted to ask you. Favorite cologne? I know it's out. Just throwing it out there. It's
Versace Eros.
Do I have that? Do I have that one? I have like 78 bottles of $80 or $90 $100
He's
bottles.
got quite the collection of cologne.
Yeah, Versace.
What color's the bottle? Is it sky blue? Is it?
It's like the kind of like an aqua blue.
I might have that one.
Maybe.
You want me to go get it real fast?
Yes, please.
Sure.
Yeah,
why
we got
not?
time.
Why not?
This is our
We got
show, man.
time. It's our show.
Ooh, that's potent. Oh.
Got questions over here too.
Yeah, we're going to go to questions. I just want to find out what clone he's got.
You nosy?
I'm nosy, yeah. I'm interested. I'm intrigued.
You know, when you travel, you have the small
I got
one.
that. I got that.
You have it at home, you got the big
I
one.
got that.
Wow, nice.
Okay, we're on the same page. Okay, another weird question. 2%, 1% fat-free, whole milk. What do you drink, Tiny?
Honestly, lately I don't drink milk
Okay.
at all. But if I did, it would be 2%.
Oh, you like the thick and creamy stuff.
Maybe one, but two or
Okay.
one.
In-N-Out or Whataburger?
Dude, I'm from Texas. Whataburger, 1,000%.
And you said something earlier about Fuddruckers. I've never eaten there. Now, would that be...
Whataburger is awesome. I mean, if you're in a rush, you gotta be quick. It's definitely Whataburger. You got a little bit of time. Fuddruckers, 1 pound burgers.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
Yeah, I want to...
And actually, I had you had an eating card. It had a 5 pound burger, and you had to eat the burger, the fries, and the drink. You had so much time to do it. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't finish it in time, but I ate all the fries.
No shit. Wow.
Dude, I was so freaking miserable. I don't know how people do eating contests because that was the worst feeling in my. I thought I was gonna die. It was horrible.
A lot of people that do those eating contests, they're smaller people. I don't know how they put it into their stomach. It's crazy. 78 hot dogs. I mean, 5 pound steaks. I mean, I can eat 9 meals a day, but I don't know about putting away. I guess it's like anything, man. You train for it, obviously. So.
They definitely train for it.
What other questions did I have? Because I was gonna shit can them because I thought they were stupid. But hey, we're on the spot, and I'm just throwing them out there. So. You remember any more? Well, hey, you remember the time when you were at the Arnold? I think it was 2004, 5, something. Remember there was a shirt controversy with Gene Rich? It was 2004. Were you there in 2004, Tiny?
I was there. Was it Whopper?
I mean, at the Arnold Classic. Sorry.
That I'm not gonna know. If it's the year that it's whatever. I was there the year I got the 942 from Mindy.
Okay.
I was there that year. So whatever that year was on there, that's when I was at the Arnold, and I didn't get to go back again until much later. Rich Lack wasn't there the year I was there.
Because he was there in 2004, I believe, and they, Rich Lack had the Phenom shirt, and everybody was complaining about his shirt, and they made him close the back and wear a 2-ply and all this, and he still won the contest with an 875, and I believe he had a 900 bench at the time in the open back style. But I thought it was cool that the powers that be at the time were casting stones, trying to make his shirt illegal and all that. And Rich Lack still came out and did 875 that day and took first place at the Arnold. So I thought that was kind of a cool story. I thought you were there. But maybe it was 2006, I'm thinking, when you're at the GLC booth with Don Frye, or, God, it's been so long, Tiny.
It's been so long. I've been with Don Frye many times. Yes.
Have you talked to Don Frye lately? Is he doing good health-wise? I know he had back surgeries.
He's had a lot of back surgeries. Last I talked to him, he's doing pretty good. Don, he's doing great. Just give him. He ain't drinking no more.
No, he doesn't drink no more.
Yeah, he stopped drinking.
Oh, good for him.
He came down. I took him to the Legacy fights here in Houston, and he looked great. He sounded great, and he was doing good.
Yeah.
I think he was trying to look for getting into coaching some and stuff, but he was in good spirits.
I remember that at the Arnold in 06, you were there, and you said Don Frye's over there, and I never met Don Frye, and I think I was in the middle of warm-ups or getting ready to warm up, and I ran over to his booth, and Don Frye had a broken arm at the time, and he didn't even know it, and he was in a bad mood. You weren't there, and I ran over there, and I go, Don Frye. And of course, the stupidest thing I asked him, I go, what was it like to fight Tank Abbott? And he looked at me, he flipped his head, and he's got these black eyeballs, and I looked right in him, and he goes, it was 1 minute and 23 seconds of pain. Never forget. And I walked away. Left him alone. Don Frye. That's my story for Don Frye. So,
my funniest story about Don Frye, we're doing the Olympia, and Don, we of course, when we're working GLC, we have lots of fun on the weekend. And at one point, I guess Don was getting tired, so he wanted to go underneath the tables and take a nap. And just a little bit after that, some guy walks up and goes, hey, is Don here? I go, I don't know. Don, you here? No, Don's not here.
And another name we brought up was Anthony Clark. And you had a little backstory on him, and he was one of the guys I looked up to. Him and Ken Lane in Powerlifting USA in 1993, and then I was able to meet Anthony in 1997. And like I told you, Tiny, he was I was in the same flight as him, and I think I had a WABDL state record at the time of 457, and I benched a 468 that day, but I remember quite clearly, and somebody has the picture of it, and of course, Anthony Clark's sitting in front of me in a chair like this, and I go, Anthony, is it all right if I put my arms on your shoulders? And he said, yeah, that's all right, and I put my arms up like this. It was the greatest day of my life. And he's just a humble man, the nicest man you'll ever meet, and he sure is missed, but I'll never forget him, and I've told you this before, but when I benched the 800, he called me up, and he goes, Ryan, now that you benched 800, people are going to want you to do this, come here, do this, and do this. He says, don't do it for anything less than $2,000. And that was the last thing he said to me. And Anthony Clark would call me at Christmas time, wish me Merry Christmas. I was just super nice man. And I just like to bring that up because, it makes me think, makes me reminisce, and I just have nothing but good memories. And I met him just once, and yeah.
Well, I think the cool part about that is it kind of shows not just when Anthony, but even you, even Scott Mendelson, here we all battle on the bench against each other, this and that. But when we all go through hard times or bad things happen or whatever, we've all reached out and said something to give him encouragement or, whatever, just like what you did, you took the extra step on your show. And I think no matter what, we're all human and we all care about each other. But we're on that platform. It's a whole nother story. It's a tough battle.
That's true.
Very true.
And afterwards, we'll party.
That's right. That's the best part of it. I mean, afterwards, and whatever town we're in, whether it's Reno or Vegas or Cincinnati, Ohio, I mean, who knows? I mean, anymore.
Or you Kattenberg, Russia?
How did you say it, Tiny? I butchered it. Kattenberg.
Kattenberg.
Hey,
Kattenberg.
When you went out to Russia, how was the food and all that? Because you went out there to compete or lift or guest lift or something or other. Did they feed you? Was there American?
Man, I loved Russia. I mean, Russia and India both. I never got to lift in India, but I got awarded. Got recognized in India, which was really cool. They brought me in, and man, you were just treated like a rock star and a king. So I can't wait to go back to India to lift.
Right.
Russia, it was probably the first time in my career where you can go to a mall and people are actually running up, want your autograph and picture and stuff like that. I mean, I can walk around my mall here, and I won't go to the mall here, but I can walk around the mall here and people won't even know who the hell I am. I mean, it's kind of depressing and sad sometimes you think of that. But I can go to a foreign country and a total stranger would know you are because they look at power and that kind of sport so much different than it is in America. I think things are starting to get a little different now with social media stuff. At first, I think there was a lot of bad, but first with social media, you had people that didn't deserve anything getting recognized. Now I think you're actually starting to see the bigger names done. But man, Russia, the food was awesome. I enjoyed every single bit of it.
Yeah, I know when we went to the Ukraine, they really treated us like rock stars and really admire strength athletes in Europe and Russia over there. And then you come home, and like you said, Tiny, when I was living in a town an hour from here, I'd come home, and I was just the big guy pushing a cart in Walmart. Then nobody knew who I was. So, but you go to these meets, and everybody knows who we are, and it's a thrill. And I'm the Benchmonster and Tiny Meeker, and then we go home, and we're just Neanderthals, I guess. I don't know. Shit.
I'll tell you a funny quick story about Russia. I went there one year. It was my second time to go back. And so when we went the first time, you got to get your visa, all that stuff. Well, we thought we had a 3-year visa. So next year comes where the day we're supposed to leave, I'm getting a deep tissue massage because it's Wednesday. And by the time the meet's on, you'll be fresh. And Bobby Lights is going with me to lift off for me. And so Bobby's going earlier. He's actually going to get on an earlier flight. Well, when I get out of the deep tissue, my phone has just been going nuts. And it's Bobby texting and calling me like crazy. I'm like, dude, what's going on? He goes, I can't get on the plane. I go, what do you mean you can't get on a plane? He goes, our visas are expired. And I'm like, visas are expired? How's that possible? Well, anyway, long story short, yes, they were expired. I went to the visa person. They got me a one in 24 hours. So my next flight, I left on a Thursday, got there. Actually, I take that back. The first day we were supposed to leave was Tuesday. So I leave on Thursday because it took 24 hours to get it. By the time I get to Russia, it's Saturday.
Oh, geez.
Because I got stuck in Turkey because there was a snowstorm in Russia. But anyway, long story short, I walk out of customs. My contact goes, Tiny, you have 2 hours to be on the platform. And I go, what? 2 hours to be on the platform? He goes, I go, you mean to be there? He goes, no, you have 2 hours to be on the platform. I said, man, I got to go home. I got to go to the hotel, take a shower, man. I just got to take a shower. I've been stuck in an airport. Let me take a shower. So anyway, go to the hotel, take a quick shower, get in the car. We drive to the venue. I pass out in the car. When we get to the venue, they wake me up. They're like, Tiny, we're here. And I'm like, huh, what? So we walk in, and there's like a little coffee shop there. I go, hey, can I get some coffee? Because y'all want pre-workout. There's no pre-workout that I know of in Russia. But anyway, so I go, can I get 4 shots of espresso? And they're like, you want 4 shots? I go, yes. And they go, you want cream and sugar? Yes, load that shit up. And I got the shots. I shoot it all down. My first lift beat everyone by 200 pounds. Wow. True story.
That is intense, man. Wow. It sounded like a recipe for disaster, but turned out freaking phenomenal. Well, yes. Wow.
I think the fact that everything was going so wrong, you just didn't give a damn. Whatever was going to happen is going to happen. So I made my first lift, like I said, beat everyone by 200 pounds. My next attempt, I wanted 415 kilos. And I get the lift, and I missed it. And I go, man, that felt kind of heavy. And go it again. And again, it kind of felt heavy. And I just missed locking out. I go, was that 415 kilos? He goes, 415? I said, yeah, 415. He goes, no, 451. I said, I wanted 415. And they go, you want to go again? I said, no, I'm done.
Oh, shit. A misload. Wow, right?
Well, miscommunication, not miscommunication.
Well, 50 was yeah. Hey, so what about the 1250 attempt on the Arnold stage? I mean, that was a misload. That was an accident, or who knows? But I mean, 1250, Tiny. I know you thought it was 1,000 something, but
it would be 1,050.
Okay, and so it's 200 pounds more. Oh shit! So you know what 1,050 feels like. So you got that hand off, and what's the first thing that went through your mind when you had 1250 in your hands? Shit.
Honest to God, I'll never forget this day. So you're all jacked up, you're ready to go. You sit up, you get the lift off, and as soon as my lift off guy goes up, out, release, and when it released, it was like, holy shit! And I threw it right back in the rack, and I'm thinking, nothing tells me to turn around and look at the weight. I'm like, man, am I set up wrong? What the freak? God, dog, that felt heavy. I mean, I'm like in the Twilight Zone all of a sudden, right? But then I start clicking, time, you gotta hurry. So I'm like, get reset. Well, now I can't get my legs down for whatever reason. And I'm trying to get set, and I'm just grabbing the bar. I'm like, just give it to me. So they bring it out again, up, out, release. And as soon as it released, I'm like, holy shit. And luckily I got a mouthpiece on because I'm fighting the crap out of my mouthpiece. And I'm going for this. So I'm going down. And I'm about to intro touch, and I swear to God, I feel like my chest is going to explode. And then I was like, oh, and he grabbed it. And I get up, and I can't breathe. I'm like, holy fuck. I go down over the side of the stage, and that's a big old stage in Arnold. And the corner, and someone runs up, and it's a misload. And I'm like, ears all popped. I can't hear nothing. What'd you say? And they're going, it was a misload. Misload? What do you mean misload? And they go, that was 1250 on the bar. And I'm not even clicking that he said it's 1250. I'm like, 1250, what? And he's like, yeah, there was 1250 in the bar. And all of a sudden I click, 1250? How the fuck is it 1250 on the bar?
Well, you didn't get hurt, did you? Or did you?
I dislocated 3 rib heads.
Holy shit.
And if you ever dislocated a rib head, you got a big old bruise in your back now, or at least where the rib head dislocates. So I just want to get my shirt off, and they tell me I got 2 more attempts. I get off the stage, and now I'm freaking out, going, what the freak? How did freak you do a 1250 misload? And I'm probably saying worse words than freak, and I'm freaking out even more. And finally my anger kicks in. I'm like, screw this. Now I'm pissed off, And the side judge walks up and goes, you need to move your sleeves back. What did you say? Move my sleeves back. And then I really get mad, because I'm thinking, you didn't even apologize for a 1250 misload. And then I come back, and right before I'm about to walk on the stage, I see that judge talk to Gene. And I go beeline right to Gene, because Gene was the head judge. And I'm like, does that look right to you? Does this look right to you? And he goes, yeah, did you load the bar right? Did you count it? And I lay down, and I go to bench 1050, and I just missed locking out. Beat's over.
Shit.
Never got a third attempt. Or at least a fourth, which should have been a third.
Right. I wanted to ask you about the 1102 bench press. Training sessions leading up to that. Did you know going into that meet that you were that ready and you were ready to put that shit up that day? Because I was in the Crossbar Hotel at the time, and this was December 2013. And I remember getting the phone call from you, and I heard that you did 11:02. Is that right? Or no, wait.
No, that was
10:76. I'm sorry.
You did the 11:02. You were out.
I was out. Yeah. But the training sessions leading up to that, how were they? And obviously, you went into the meet knowing you had the huge lift. But was there anything particular in training sessions leading up to that?
I don't remember as much on the 1076. On the 11:02, that day, 1,000%, I knew I was going to hit that record that day. I actually had my bench hauled. They came over, picked up my bench. They picked up the plates because I wanted kilos there. I wanted everything as official as I possibly could. I made sure the meet was sanctioned, all that stuff. Shipped it there. Came in, weighed in the day before. The next day, we go do the meet. And it's kind of crazy. I was actually doing pull-ups in the warm-up room. I felt so freaking relaxed. I'm sitting there doing a pull-up on this power rack, and all of a sudden I stop and I'm like, "What the frick are you doing, dude? You're about to bench 1,000 pounds."
What?
But let me back up a little bit. So going into the meet, the last workout bench day we did, I saw Dave Hoff do something a couple weeks before, how big of a jump he did and how high his opener was.
Okay.
And I said, I'm going to change my opener. And one of my guys, Steve Kaufman, was actually like, "Oh, well, you said don't do this." I said, "Hey, man, it's going to happen." So I went from 315 straight to 900, straight to 1,000. And then I was going to say I was going to open up a 1080, which they thought I was nuts. But, man, my mind was already set. If Dave can open up 1,000, I can open up a 1080. So, man, coming to the meet, again, I knew 1,000% that day it was going to happen. The key was working. So anyway, so we opened up at 1080. It was extremely fast, explosive. I then went 11:02, and I actually missed it on my second attempt. So
how did you miss? I don't mean to interrupt you, Tiny. How did you miss the 11:02 on the second attempt?
When you really know these shirts really well, you know where it needs to sit on your chest and how much movement you have to know where it should be. I mean, I bench 600 in the same shirt I bench over 1,000 in. And it's all about where that neck placement is and how much I'm moving my arms. So I had it that good. Well, with the 11:02, I just had the neckline just a tad little too low than I wanted it. So I was like, I need to do. So we came back, set it, boom, third lift, 11:02, nailed it. And then I came back at 11:35, and man, my hands were just destroyed by then. I went down with it and went up, and I was like, that's it, take it. So I was done.
So on that Phenom shirt, you adjust the neckline. Do you pull the sleeve down behind the arm at all? That was my technique.
No, I wear my shirt a lot different than a lot of guys do. Like Gene used to wear his like almost down his arms and stuff. Which me, because of my shoulder injuries, I want that shirt back. So I'm getting my arm in as far as I can. I don't want my sleeves too long, so I always would cut my sleeve. So if my sleeve was ever going past my elbow, it'd drive me nuts because that's the only thing I ever did on my sleeves was shorten them. You know what I mean? But really, the only movement was just the neckline. Once your arm's totally in it, I don't want any wrinkles. I didn't want no wrinkles on the chest. I don't want no wrinkles on the side, on the arm. Some guys actually like to put a wrinkle on the back. I don't want that. I want it feeling as smooth as possible. I don't want to feel any pinching. And that's how I'd set it up.
Now, did you have a shirt for an opener of 1080, a shirt for 11:02, and another shirt for 11:02? I was the type of guy with the Inzer Phenoms. I would do one lift and one shirt, and then I would hand it to my handoff guy. It was his shirt. I mean, back then the material was had so much elasticity in it. Once you touched a weight in it, I mean, the shirt would stretch tremendously. So I would get one lift shirt. So I had a shirt for I'd have 4 shirts in a meet. Opener, second, third, and then a backup for each one too. So, do you wear the same shirt for all attempts, or?
Same shirt for all attempts, but I would completely take the shirt off after every lift.
Really?
So I would take it off, let my body kind of heal back up, you'd almost get more pump. Put it back on, know where the neckline's going to sit. I really knew what the feel was to go into the next lift, but never switch shirts.
So you do that at meets, and in between attempts, take off the shirt completely?
I would completely take off the shirt.
Wow. Okay, weird.
That shirt is so easy to get on and off. It really doesn't matter. And I don't know much about the new stuff now, but apparently they're pretty easy to get in and off as well too. But that's what I loved about the Super Duper so much. I mean, for years, I was kind of always going back single ply, double. Then I kind of started messing with the super, but I was always changing to go all these different freaking meets and different federations. I was never sticking to one thing. And then really what my turnaround was is I got laid off for a job. And one of my closest friends in the world, Tony Ciracini, pulls me aside one day and he was like, hey, man, what's the least amount of money you can make to survive? And I was like, what? And he said, he asked me again. And I told him what I thought was the least amount I could make. And he goes, I'll tell you what, I'm going to pay you that money every month. And all I want you to do is focus on breaking the world record. He goes, don't worry about work. Don't worry about your bills. Everything's going to be taken care of. But you focus on the record. 6 months later, boom, I hit it.
Damn.
Wow.
Because I didn't have to worry about nothing else. And he said, also try to make my business bigger, which was the gym and training people and all that. But once the mind focus was just on that, it all started to come, you know? I mean, I do my shirts like crazy. The bad part now is when your body weight starts changing. That's the hardest thing you got to watch is if you change your body weight, that shirt dramatically changes.
Yeah, and a lot of people argue about the Inzer Phenom, and I always reference the 2007 to 2012 material, which was really stretchy, and it since has changed a little bit. Which did you prefer? The old school, like I called it when you pulled the old Phenom in 2007 and between then and 12, you pulled out a Phenom and the sleeves got dog ears. They kind of flapped down. The material was just it was like a rubber band. It really was. But and then it changed. It kind of merged with the Rage X material. Maybe I don't make material for shirts, but it got a little bit more rigid and less stretch in it. Which did you prefer? The real stretchy stuff or the new age?
You know what's funny? I liked all the materials, and it's as funny as it sounds. I've learned to master whatever we're messing with. You know, when it was single ply, I went all out when I get into single ply. You know, when you're reading all those meets and what I've done. All those meets at the Worlds, I was also attempting over 1,000 there, but I was missing the 1,000. And a lot of problems for me on 1,000, people would say stupid things like, oh, his shirt's too tight, he's not touching. Shirt wasn't too tight. The freaking bar was bending like crazy back then. I mean, if I had the bars now, that I have now back then, shit, I probably would have done 1,000 in a single ply and a double, whatever, all the way up. That was a big problem with lifting was, I mean, we looked at the lift the other day of the 1105. We don't even like the bars bending. I mean, that was a great looking bar, So that's a big problem. But going back to what I was saying is I've learned to master each one. I love the stretchy stuff. It was comfortable. But honestly, my best lifts were actually in the more aggressive, stiffer one, which most people didn't like.
I didn't like it.
Yeah, but I just knew that shirt well. And then whatever came after that, honestly, I don't know if it's the material change or the fact that it's just not custom fitting no more.
Yeah, I remember I wanted to see what shirt Hoff was wearing, and I'm at the Arnold this year. I kind of snuck over to his gym bag, and he goes, "Those are my shirts right there." And I picked it up, and first thing I did was take both sleeves, and I tried to pull it apart. And he's got that rigid Phenom material, and it works for him. I can't get it to work. I'm just going to be honest. I've tried for many years, and what worked for me was the shirts I had back in the day. So. Times have changed and, shirts evolve, but, I just couldn't get down with that newer material. I tried, and I tried for 2014 for 4 years, and I just couldn't get it I couldn't get it as tight as I wanted. I just couldn't mimic what I had been used to for many years prior. So, but.
Yeah, the red shirt is what Dave used a lot, and I never did really great in a red shirt. To me, it was even stretchier than the stretchier black, in my opinion. I still think the cutting was different, for custom fitting and stuff. But again, when I went back to the more aggressive, I just did better. I don't know if that's just also because Rage X's I did so good in Rage X, and it was kind of like an in-between, but of course a different cut, but even more the fact that the shirt would never blow.
That's true.
That's one thing I love about the Super Duper. They never, at least the ones I never had one that blew. And that was a dramatic difference for me.
Yeah, I had an Inzer, my first cover of Powerlifting USA. I had an Inzer denim blow on me with a 672, and unfortunately, all I had in my bag was a Franz, or I think a Karen Klein shirt. So I had to put that on, and of course, Gus uses that picture for the cover of Powerlifting USA, and kind of got Inzer mad at me. But it was kind of cool to get the cover of Powerlifting USA, and in the slideshow that I showed earlier, I saw you were on the cover. Do you know how many times you were on the cover of Powerlifting USA? Do you?
If I had to guess, I think 4, maybe 5.
Right on.
Now, what's kind of cool when you come down to Texas and we go down to Stark Center, they have every single muscle mag inside their Stark Center, all of them, all of them. Now, when I say all of them, I mean Flex, Muscle Mag, Powerlifting USA, and you can go there and find your month and your year, and you can pull your magazine out and take. That was the coolest thing in the world, yeah.
Damn.
So yeah, we're in the museum.
I've done this before. Have you ever sat down and figure out how many times you attempted 1,000 plus pounds on the platform, how many attempts you made, and how many you missed, and figured out a percentage of attempts made to attempts missed? Have you done that mathematical equation? I have, and I'm pretty close to. I think because I just remembered it because I sat down. I was bored one time and tried to figure out every meet, how many times I attempted. And I think 28 times, 1,000 plus, and I completed 18 of them. So, do you ever sit down and figure out how many times you've done that?
No, I know for 900 plus, there's a lot of them because for 2 years I was doing a meet at least once a month, if not twice a month, because I couldn't do it in the gym. I'd go to meets just to fill 900 pounds, and I was bombing, and then I ran into a guy named Randy Risher who bought me my first 1,000-pound weight set, and I mean, Scott Middleton Classic. That's all I got to say.
I remember.
I mean, and that's what I'm getting at is once I finally had the right equipment to fill the weight, it all changed. Right. You know, I mean, when you go to a meet and you've never felt that weight, it's so spontaneous and you don't know what your body's going to feel. But when you're training and you're feeling weight that you've never felt before and you're going above and beyond what you really want to accomplish, that's how the magic happens.
True. Yeah.
But no, I need to count that up one day. I'll try to do my best on that. That'd be kind of difficult, but
Scott, you've done so many meets. You know, you have to sit down and remember each one. It's tough.
Well, there's I think Open Powerlifting has some stuff where they show all these stats, but the thing is, they're only showing stats for what you accomplished, not for when you failed. So, trying to figure that out from your APF, SPF, so on, all those shows, and like you just said, you got to think of how many meets you did not hit that 1,000, but you attempted it. There's a lot of meets there.
And a lot of people always ask, you answered this in the beginning, and how much you benched in high school. When I was a freshman in high school, I was 5'4", 135, and I remember my junior year, I bench pressed 200 pounds, and I thought that was something special. And just goes to show, who you are. And we all start at different places, but yeah, I don't know if I was just genetically ungifted in the beginning or a great soccer player, but man, you were strong in high school, dude. And like I said, man, you probably played some sports. I played soccer and track. That's not the manly sport. So, but I blossomed into the Benchmonster and just lived in the gym, became a gym rat. So, but I love it, man. We've been doing this for a long time, man, and we're still in the game. It's cool to see. We're up there in age now. Both of us aren't 27 no more. And but shit, man, we still do the best we can. And maybe we'll be on that platform again one day.
Maybe one day. I got a question for you. So, like, when I first did 7. And 7 was my first all-time goal. I just wanted to bench 700 pounds. And matter of fact, Anthony Clark's brother Larry was one of my side spotters, and Bill Lobens was my middle one. And I promised Bill I'd hit 700 before he ever moved away because Bill had to leave Houston to go take care of his mother. And I nailed it that day. There was like over 200-something people in the audience. It was awesome. It was an APF show, which Gary Pendergrass used to put on those meets, and all of them are always huge. And after that, I wanted to quit. I didn't care about powerlifting anymore. I was like, I was happy. I just wanted to do. And then people started asking about 800. I said, I'll never bench 800 pounds. No way in hell, And then one day I'm at a gym working out at Bally's Total Fitness, and a guy walked up and goes, hey, man, you lifting the nationals? And by now I've kind of hooked up with my dream girl at the time, and I didn't care about lifting heavy. I just wanted to look good and take care of business, if you know what I mean. So anyway, and I said, no, I'm done lifting. And he goes, yeah, everyone said you got stuff. That's why you lost all that weight. And I go, what did you say? And I go, when's nationals? He goes, in 2 weeks. I said, I'll see you at nationals. So when I did 700 the first time, I was probably 289. I came in at 259. I benched 661 in the same shirt and just missed 700 again. And that's pretty much where the anger kicked in to start proving people wrong and just go after this crazy amount. And it went from 800 to 900. Never in my mind did I ever think I would do what I did, but I was never satisfied or happy. And I was like, I got to go that next level. I got to go that next level. So my question to you is, was there a lift you wanted more than anything, and there was a next lift that you just didn't think you would ever hit?
God, I never thought I would do what I've done. I thought when I got to 733 pounds, I remember my handoff guy. We did a news interview here, and I remember him saying something, and they didn't put it on the news, I don't think, but he said we don't think he's going to go much further past where he's at now, and that kind of pissed me off. He said that. I never forget it, and I was like, that makes me want to do 800. And 800 was the pinnacle, and I didn't like Gus Rethridge told me when I did 785. And I said. I had Gus on the phone, and he's like, I'm trying to go for Anthony's record, and Gus had me all hyped up to do it. So 800 was kind of like the pinnacle. To do that, it was, to do 900 was cool. 1,000 was really cool because I never, it was just baby steps. I never looked too far forward. Like, okay, I did a 900. I did that. I never thought like. I never even thought of 1,000. It was like 925 is the next one, 942, those type of steps. And if I made them, I made them. I never really looked too far past. I didn't know how far I could go. And, it's just what the human body can handle, what loads you can put it under, and how hard can you push it? How much can you, I had to learn how to eat. I asked Scott Mendelson, how do I gain weight, Scott? And he told me how to eat food. He says I got to eat 2,500 calorie shakes, 4 a day, 10,000 calories. And God darn, I've told this story time and time again, but I tried that, because I had a sponsor at the time, and I ordered Champion Nutrition, 2,500 calorie, put 4 scoops in there, whole milk ice, blended it up, and it was a blizzard. And I was eating with a spoon. I was like, I can't do this all day. But, so these are just trials and tribulations, just trying to get to the who knows where, But Gene Richlack made it believable with his 900, and then he did the 1,000, and I thought, well, and when he did those lifts, I was still in the Rage X. And I was like, I got to get in this Phenom. This is the shirt. I got to figure out how to use it. And so I had to make that adjustment. And then, of course, having sleep apnea, that held me back, too. Then once I corrected that, then things just took off. But I would have to say the 800 is probably one of the best lifts I can honestly say that I never thunk, never thunk I could do it. And it was kind of funny, that meet, Tiny, I came down to Houston a week prior, and I tried, I think you were there. 755, and I tried 800 3 times, missed it.
That's when I lost all the weight. That was that meet.
And I remember flying home, and Gus called me, and he goes, "You're coming to my meet next weekend in Portland." I go, "No, I'm not." I said, "I just did a meet in Houston." I said, "I'll have nothing next week." And he goes, "I'm going to call your weights. You're coming. I'll get you a hotel." Gus. And I'm like, oh, frick. Okay. So I show up. He calls my numbers, 683, 738, 783, and 800.1. So that was kind of a cool day. So, moment in history. Yeah.
Well, my whole point of that is, if it wasn't for Gene, no matter what my view is with him and the misload, if it wasn't for Gene, if it wasn't for Scott, if it wasn't for you, there wouldn't be no Tiny Meeker going where he went, and I'm pretty sure there wouldn't be no Will either. So Will's going to take that and go above and beyond, because if it wasn't us hitting those 9s, 1,000s plus, you wouldn't have these guys coming up, where they are now. And I really think very soon there's going to be so many more guys hitting over 1,000, no matter how it is. I just think it's not just, the funny part is, to me, it's not just about the shirts. I think there's so many more hardcore gyms now. I think there's so many people now buying better equipment. I mean, I think it's kind of funny to have so many people want to use kilo weights all the damn time when they can't even lift 500 freaking pounds. It's like, why I use kilos? I use kilos to put 1,200, 1,300 in a bar. I can get a bit less what's below it. I'll put, 45s and stuff. But there was no reason to use the kilos unless I want to go extremely heavy or for a contest. But now it's like everyone's got them. So I think the fact that there's more hardcore gyms, there's more people with some smarter knowledge, and they're learning this stuff, I think the record is going to get pretty crazy. I mean, raw-wise, you got Julius. I mean, who? Unreal. That's another thing I never thought we'd ever see. And I definitely think it's going to happen now. So
I never thought, never thunk 800 raw, and the guy's going to do it. I mean, it's just a matter of time. But I just want to touch briefly too on the Kruger shirts, the band shirts, whatever we want to call them. Now I don't know. I read this on Facebook, or I got some information, but they made that that shirt for it's called an unlimited division. Is that correct?
That's what I heard too. Yes.
Yeah. I just I know there was a committee with Open Powerlifting, and they did something, but I tried to research it today, but I don't have all the facts. But I just understand that there was a vote that was on Instagram a couple weeks back. Should it be, this, that, and the other? But yeah, it's crazy. So it's called the Unlimited Division. That's interesting.
It's very interesting. I don't know why they just couldn't call it band, because to me, you use a band or a shirt. Band's band.
Well, like I told you, I'm going to invent a shirt that has TINS unit in it, and then when you bench it, I'm going to hit a button, and it's going to vibrate and shock your muscles like a cattle prod, and it's going to be the ultimate Unlimited Division shirt. So I'm just effing with you.
It might go up and down. You might get disqualified for that. It might go.
Yeah, well, that's true.
That's true.
I'm gonna roll over here to some questions. Some of them are geared towards me, I think, but I'm just gonna pass through a few here. Let's see. Mr. Elite Entertainment says you're a legend in the sport, Tiny.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, Cody Plum, what do you guys like about WABDL Federation? We are doing our first WABDL meet on August 1st. What do you guys like about WABDL Federation? I don't lift in it anymore, but Gus is a cool guy. He puts on great meets. I mean, they're not always perfect. I mean, nobody's perfect, but WABDL was like a family. It really was. I mean, it was like a family.
Actually, what I was going to say, the WABDL family is pretty freaking awesome. I think for the foremost, I love lifting WABDL because I think there was always competition, and I love to compete. I don't like to go lift and there's no one else you're really competing against. There was a lot of years where I was coming second place, and I don't think I ever got third. I got either first or second at WABDL most of the times. But I mean, there was guys, putting on you. So, when you got 600-700 people in a contest, that's a pretty exciting thing. And like you said, Gus usually puts on a great show. He does his best to make sure lifters are taken care of. I mean, nothing's perfect, but I'm always going to love WABDL.
Yeah, without Gus and WABDL, I don't know if I would be here today. I don't know what the hell I would have done or where I would have gone. So I just remember when Gus ran his contests out here, Post Falls, Tri-Cities, Salem, Springfield, Portland. We did all of them. We were doing a meet every 2.5 months, but it was a party. We show up, we lift, and then it was a party every night. So it's kind of a rock star lifestyle power or bench pressing arena when he was here. Oh,
party!
I got it. Is it time?
Time.
Oh shit!
Wait.
Okay.
Sorry.
Ring the bell.
There he goes.
Son of a bitch. I don't think I can hang with you, Tiny. I think I can fall flat on my face in 5 seconds.
You gotta do some.
Holy
Sorry,
shit.
Ryan. I'm your guest. You have to respect your guest.
That's true, I do.
Yeah.
Well, I don't do shots like you, Tiny. Even though I do have the Ukrainian.
Okay. Look, it's a small one. It's a
This
small
is
one.
the Ukrainian shot glass. Mendelsohn knows what this is. Yeah.
Well, I can go get a Ukraine shot glass.
Well, that's what they use. That's their shot glass over there. It's like 3 cups.
Are you saying you took that from the
No,
hotel?
I'm just joking. It looks like it. I was drinking champagne that night.
Salute. Oh!
Where's the lighter?
Yeah, do another one.
Bitch.
All right, back to the
back to
questions.
the
Back to the
question.
questions.
I was just kind of excited. There was overstimulation right there. Okay. How often optimal training? How often do you go heavy in the bench? I don't know if that's for me or you, but I go once a week. Tiny?
I bench once a week, but I go heavy when my body feels to go heavy. I mean, I always have by Thursday or Friday, I have a plan on what I'm going to do on Sunday. And matter of fact, when we were going way back about when I knew I was going to start messing with 12 or 1300, I called one of my training partners one day. I said, I'm going to go 1300 this Sunday. He's like, okay. And I did 1300 on Sunday.
Oh, shit.
So my body tells me what I'm going to do. If I don't feel right, we back off and do speed. I tell my team the same thing. Even though I'm coaching everyone, I tell everyone, tell me how you feel. If you don't feel right, I need to know this. We'll change your workout. You're still going to do the workout, but don't lie to me, because if you're not feeling right, that's how bad things happen, and I don't want to see one get hurt.
I use the term listen to your body, and that's a hard thing to do when you're an elite lifter, because the mind may say one thing, but the body says another, and you got to know when to respect that, because, injuries, I don't know if you had any injuries lately, but in my older age, I don't heal like I did when I was 27. Little tears and things. It took 6 months 2 summers ago, and I'm just scared to death to be injured because I don't got time to sit on the sideline. So listening to your body is very important.
Yeah, this latest pair is from May of 2017, and it's still, still not 100%, but it's definitely feeling a lot better.
Cody Plum says, I just talked to Gus last week. He gave me the forearm speech. He also gave me almost an hour of his time giving me advice on deadlifting with my back injury. When I think about that, Gus, how many times you been out drinking with Gus Rethwich, and he's the first man in history to pull 900 to his knees. Have you heard that story before, Tiny?
Yeah, he also started Powerlifting USA, powerlifting. There wouldn't be no powerlifting with no Gus. Yeah, I've heard a lot of stories. I actually drank all night with him sake one night, and he'll honestly tell you neither one of us won. We stayed to the end till about 3 o'clock in the morning drinking sake.
That was in Portland. That
was in Portland, and I had the flu. And he talked trash. He said, "All you Texans talk trash." Because I said, "Gus, I have the flu." He goes, "All you Texans talk trash." I was like, "Light him up." And I drank him up. I was sweating like crazy, but I felt great the next day.
Holy crap, Tiny!
So I guess I got the flu. Drink sake.
You're
Maybe that's what
Jesus. Isaac Conde, Conde. What up, Tiny? Georgetown in the house.
Georgetown's in the house, bro. I said Austin. I actually used to train Isaac Conde.
Really?
Oh, really?
Small world.
Yeah, he's been a Wobbler World Champion as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sorry?
I was going to say him and 3 of his neighbors, maybe 4, used to drive down to my house every Saturday and get trained by me. And Georgetown's in Austin, which is probably about a 3-hour drive they would take every Saturday to get trained by me.
Shit. Wow. That's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Next question is by Todd Becraft, and I'm going to reference back to a Cody Plum question here. He says, Ryan, did your traps get bigger this week? They look huge. Well, I got Todd Becraft's trap book, and so thank you. I've been doing some extra tricep trap exercises. You can't tell in this black shirt.
It's the shirt.
It's the shirt.
It's the Monster Gym shirt.
It's
shirt.
It's trap enhanced.
Everyone looks massive in a Monster Gym shirt. Just saying.
Todd Becraft wants to know who took the picture of us passed out on the table. That's a good question.
I'll passed out. How the hell am I going to know that?
And also, Tiny, I got in trouble for that. Did you get in trouble by Gus for being passed out in the venue? Because Gus called me up and said that was not how we should be representing Wabdell, and he chewed my ass out for that.
I bet he did.
Did you get any whiplash from that?
Back in those days, I probably didn't remember. Okay. But probably did.
Okay. Let's see. Next question. Remy Shirley. Hey, Tiny, I watched a video of you doing a full meet, and you seemed like you got strength in the squat and deadlift. Do you still have the power in those lifts, in the squat and deadlift?
Yes.
Okay, that's simple.
I just can't. I don't have the flexibility to get on the bar to squat, but I can do everything still. I mean, hey, maybe since we have all this other new stuff, maybe we can start doing safety squat bars in the contest, and then everyone could squat again with bad shoulders.
That's a good idea. Hey, why not?
See, look what we just started, the safety squat division.
Boom.
Hey, Remy Shirley, milk is for babies. You got to drink beer.
There you go.
Tiny, you drink beer. What's your favorite beer?
Ultra,
Michelob Ultra.
I like to stay pretty.
Okay. Not a malt liquor fan.
No, it's Ultra, Dos Equis Green, and then I'm gonna get in trouble if I say the wrong model.
Back in the day, Magdog 2020, Old English.
No. I did Strawberry Fields.
Is that
Strawberry
Boone's
Hill
Farm?
Yeah, the wine.
Oh, yeah.
That was some good stuff, but never touched Mad Dog. No way in hell. Never
Only
did.
Once. Orange Jubilee. Wasn't a good night.
Back in those days, of course, Goldschlager and
Rumpelmans.
Goldschlager once and never touch it again. No.
Goldschlager on my 21st birthday ended the night with it coming up, and I hate cinnamon gum.
Throw up right now before Goldschlager talk.
No cinnamon gum, no cinnamon toothpaste, no cinnamon dental floss. Don't do anything cinnamon around me.
Hey, what a big piece of bubblegum.
John Smith, Tiny, have you tried any of the new shirts?
Like what?
I'm assuming he's referencing the
band
Kruger,
shirts.
the Bench Daddy, the Viper.
Well, if I got to be totally honest, if it doesn't say Enzer on it, I didn't try it. So there's
the answer.
Yeah.
Alex Estrada, did you guys ever meet Ted Arcidi? I have not.
No, never met Ted. You mean who'd you name earlier? Gosh, dog it. He said
Tokarski.
No. You named from Texas as well. Oh, I'm gonna feel so bad. We can't remember his name. I think he was one of the
Tim,
first to bench.
Tim Isaacs? No.
Oh, I feel horrible now. We'll have to move on. No, never met Ted.
Was he from a bencher from Texas? Ken Lane?
Yes. Ken Lane, yes, I met Ken. Ken is another really super duper nice guy, just like Anthony. Very, very positive about everything. I mean, you know, you got to be positive what changes are going on. It is what it is. I mean, do you want some things to be different, categorized? I got no problem with that. But, I mean, it's powerlifting. I love to see crazy lifting. I don't care if it's raw, single ply, multi, band. I don't give a damn. Just fucking put it up.
Do you have Ken Lane's contact information at all?
I bet we can Google it right now.
Well, I just like to talk to him. I've never met the man. I missed him in the big show you guys had down there with Inzer, the reps contest.
Yeah.
Yeah, because actually the cover of Powerlifting USA that I posted in the slideshow had you on the cover, Mendelson and Ken Lane, and I believe yourself or Rob Lane. I don't know, but there's a picture down there, and I think that
Rob was there, Dean's there, Mindy's there, I'm there, Gary Frank was.
Oh, wow.
And by the way, Jamie Kolb said, you two are fucking awesome. Laugh out loud. Why is he laughing?
because we're slurring our words, and you got me liquored up. It's all your fault. Don't ring that bell. If I hear that bell, I'm gonna go crazy. Let's see. Jason Wood. Do you guys train together? Did Ryan show Tiny how to get the world record?
Yes, he did. He told me everything, and I did it.
Yeah, we haven't trained together, but it ain't over because I'm coming down to your gym at some point when the COVID has left the planet. So,
well, I think what we really should say here, which we've been talking for a while, we both would like to get together and do some seminars for people. So if some gyms out there want to, hey, talk to us about doing some seminars, we're very open to getting together and coming down to your gym and teaching you how to be the baddest freaking bencher in the world.
Tiny, you have a training philosophy totally separate than I do, and I think that there's so much that a beginning lifter, intermediate lifter that could come away with so much information that we have. That'd be fun, and we've talked about that before. Doing one in your gym first.
Yeah, but I don't think people understand that. I mean, you got two of the best ever teaching you how to do it. And again, we got two totally different training ways, thoughts. But, what I've always done is I tell people all the time, it's like, I don't just have 35 years of training knowledge. I have 35 years of failing, of learning what to do, what not to do, and watching others fail and learning from them too. But I've also took what people did great with and took those, and I just put it all together and bam, now you're a superstar. So if some gyms out there want us to come out, yeah, we'll start with Monster Gym first and then go all worldwide, man. Let's go everywhere.
Yeah.
We get some later.
Worldwide? Holy shit. Let's see. Isaac Conde says Fuddruckers all day. I got to try this place now. He's recommending it.
Dude, Fuddruckers is awesome. Okay,
let's see. What other questions we got here? Oh, Alex Estrada. How about Doug Furnace? Furnace. F-U-R-N-A-C-E. I don't want to. Doug Furnace. I know the name. I don't know a background on him. Power 3 lifter, bench presser. I should know. I'm just drawing a blank.
Maybe because I don't know who he's talking about.
Okay, Doug Furnace. I have to Google him. But I know. Yeah, we'll just move on from that one.
Moving on.
Okay, Paul Mercado. How long do you guys eat before a training session, and how much food you eat? Because lately I've been getting hungry in the middle of my workout. What should I do?
Wow. Well, first of all, you need to talk to Nathan Payton because he's a world-class nutritionist, and he has 4 guys that want to roll strongman, and including myself. So when Nathan tells me to eat, that's when I eat. So there you go.
Okay. I usually eat 2 hours prior, but my training sessions are my max effort bench press day is 2 hours. So basically I get in there, get the majority of work done in the first hour, the accessory work, and then then I'm ready to eat again. So if you're in the gym for over 3 or 4 hours, you might want to invest in yogurt, peanut butter and honey, something in the middle, something light to get through your workout. I don't know. I've never had that issue.
I'm getting hungry right now because I didn't eat before we did this interview, but we're going to continue the interview. Don't worry about it.
Tony, Carlina, love watching this. This is awesome. Tony.
Love you, Tony.
Let's see what else we got here. Jason Wood. Larry Wheels was really strong in high school.
Really?
I didn't know that. I think he was born strong. I think he came out
He's
shredded
not that
and
far out of high school, is he?
He's
like
20
early 20s.
I think Larry Wheels 25. He told me, if I remember correctly.
Is he 25?
Yeah, young man. So much life and.
I thought he was younger than that.
I thought he was younger than that too.
He's a freak.
He's a freak, man.
Freak.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's nothing that guy can't do. Oh man, here's a tough name. Himashu Sharma. Hello, sir. How you doing, sir?
Which one?
Well,
We're fantastic.
We're
How
doing
are you?
great. Let's see. Hunter's Powerlifting Life. Ryan, how did you convince every meet director to blast grinder music? When did that start? I tore 6 feet under grinder. I don't convince meet directors.
Grinder music.
6 feet under grinder.
Bumping.
Not that kind of grinder.
Not that grinder. No.
I don't care about that then.
Yeah. That was 2003 at the APF Seniors. I heard that song in the car, and I said, "Man, that's the song I want to come out to." And usually, when you go to a meet, they want to know your music you want to come out to, and I always chose Grinder. Holy shit!
Oh my god!
But, yeah.
Hey, that thing's got teeth.
It's got like evil teeth.
Oh,
it's
and
got
with blood
bloody
on
teeth.
them.
Hey, that's a killer panda bear.
Wow. And the mouth moves. That's cool.
Okay, tiny question here for us. Showbit Jane, Jain. When do you guys plan to compete next?
Tomorrow.
I'm down for that.
Right now. Who has the best Kango? We want to know who has the best Kango. This is the competition right now.
Red and white.
I mean, I'm LL all day long.
I'm LL Benchmonster.
That's oh, dude. Yeah, well, I'm bad.
Yeah. I'm okay.
Is that a real question that we have to answer?
I guess. Okay. No.
I don't know. If there's someone out there that wants to promote and pay some bills, we might be very interested. How's that?
I like that answer. You know, I'm sure, Tiny, I'm sure you don't need any bragging rights, trophies, or T-shirts anymore. I'm sure you got plenty of those, like I do. You know, it's nice to have a few coins once in a while, as long as we've been doing it. So I understand where you're coming from. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Remy Shirley, all kidding aside, when you guys were lifting at your prime, how often did you guys drink alcohol? That's a good question. Tiny?
Never.
Never?
How often do we drink alcohol? In our prime? Man, I'll be really honest. When I really turned it on to the next level, but before you gotta realize I bounced a bodyguard for 13 freaking years. So when I got out of the club biz, things kind of dramatically changed. And then when I really got serious, I actually kind of stopped going out and hang. And you know, I have a friend of mine, Fernando, that would crack jokes that every time he wanted to go out, Tiny was the yes man. Call Tiny, he'll go out, you know. And then one day he called me and said, "Nah, man, I got to train tomorrow." And he hung up and he goes, "Man, Tiny never says no." And he calls me back, tells me again, "Okay, I'll go." But anyway, after that, I never went again. But no, I think when I got really serious, no, the partying really stopped. So there wasn't too much alcohol. But when the lifting was done, I had a great time.
Same here. I found out quickly that even drinking on the weekends didn't add up. And I actually decided to quit doing that in 1997, December. And 2 months later, no drinking. I went from a 512 bench to a 551 and really never looked back, and just kind of put the drinking aside. The only time I really cracked a bottle was if there was a cash meet and I won some cash. You know, it was good to drink, but I kept it out of the way. I mean, it depletes, dehydrates, and destroys. Alcohol, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, it isn't going to make you a great bench press person. I know Tank Abbott, one of my heroes in life. You know, he was 620 raw bencher, and that guy drank every day probably. And I always wondered if I was able to drink every day and still bench 600. I couldn't do it, man. I had to give up the drinking. So
What about Willie Williams?
What's that?
What about Willie Williams?
I heard Willie Williams would drink a 6 or pack or so. He was coined the term. He was the laziest 700-pound raw bencher. I read that in Powerlifting USA. I thought.
Willie said I read a story when he missed a lift, and he goes, "I probably didn't drink enough beer the night before."
Interesting.
And that's how was. He drank a lot of freaking beer. I actually met he came down to the Monster Gym and met me one day.
Wow.
Super nice guy, and he is the true mountain man.
Remy Shirley, does alcohol and powerlifting mix? Because I'm sauced at the moment. No, it doesn't. My advice, and
Oh, I thought ATM was he's at the ATM. I was like, can we get some money?
I was trying
At
to
the
figure
moment.
out what ATM meant. Okay, wow.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't think that's cash
Man,
machine.
I knows all these code words. He really is young.
Yeah, I don't think it mixes, honestly. I think you need to set it aside and, put, like I always say, put 110% in what you're doing. And if you're drinking on the side, I mean, you're not putting 110% in. So, I mean, if you, that's just my opinion. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and preach. So, Isaac Conde, best exercises for triceps.
I already answered
I
that
know.
one, Isaac. Why weren't you paying attention to the
that
show
was
earlier,
in the
Isaac?
beginning, yep.
It was early in the beginning.
Clearly, he wouldn't watch
I
it.
know, Isaac. You should have been there earlier. You could always play it back. I will talk. First of all, Isaac, you know my exercise. I taught you my exercise. Don't even go there. Next question.
Next question.
That's awesome.
Oh, Jason Wood. That's great. You two have held the world record. Misspell. Yeah. YJATSWEUI. Yeah. Okay.
Is that a code word?
It's a misspell. We'll correct it. Himanshu Sharma. How many days doing close grip bench press in a month?
Well, first of all, I only bench 4 days of a month. So, every Sundays when I bench. But, what's funny? When I had my injury, I was doing a lot more close grip benching because my labrum was having issues. As I'm getting healthy again, those hands are moving back out. So I eventually want to get to the index finger back on the line. But when I was hurt, it was more pinky on the line. But I don't do any closer grip than that.
Right. When I was before I met Louis Simmons, I did everything wide and never really trained close grip. And after meeting Louis, majority of my training is close grip inside the ring and at various points. And because Louis told me, a close grip bench will build a wide grip bench, and I do a lot of close grip benching. I do it 4 or 5 times a month, probably in my training, and that's my answer. So,
well, Anthony Clark did close grip before he went to reverse grip.
How close?
When Anthony was in high school, it was very, very close grip his bench. And then later on, he switched to the reverse. Now, there's different stories out there of why he switched to reverse. Some people said injury, this and that. The only thing I ever heard from Anthony was he knew was more lats and triceps. And what's really funny about this is if you go, hope we can see this, the old school days, everybody did this jump.
Yep.
And there's some people that still do this. Well, reverse is this. And a lot of people gave Anthony crap because a lot of federations outlawed his lift. But if you do this, it's the same bench, just the hands turned around. So, yeah, I agree. There's a lot more lats and triceps in that lift. If you're doing close grip, to me, it's just all tries. But, hey, man, big back, big bench.
Right.
Big back, big tries, big bench. So do it all together.
That reverse grip bench, when you actually do it, you don't push it over your face. It's really weird because it's you have a tendency to push it in a straight line, and I just wanted to throw those 2 cents in there. Remy Shirley, I'm 30 years old from Canada, living in Saskatoon, and Fuddruckers rules.
By the way, in Vegas, there's a 24-hour Fuddruckers inside the Orleans Hotel. Just saying.
Hey, that's close to my house.
Just saying.
I don't know when it will be in Vegas next. I don't know when it will be anywhere next. It's people are trying to plan for meets right now. I know the U.S. Open is scheduled for November in San Diego. I just don't know how anybody plans to do anything with all these restrictions and masks and everything else. So I mean, I'm just speaking in general on flying places. I like to come down and see it, Tiny, but I want to come down when Texas is phase 3 or so, whatever. I mean, in a better place. I mean, we're in a horrible place up here too. We're at phase 1.5, and COVID stuff is just on the rise every day. I don't know. It's stressful, but
you're not a partier, so you don't have to worry about the clubs. But pretty much all the other things we want to do, we can pretty much go see and do.
That's cool. Yeah. Well, how far is Austin from Houston?
The way I drive, hour and a half. No, I'm just kidding. About two, almost 3 hours.
No shit. How do you drive, Tiny? Is that 100 miles an hour or not? Faster. No shit. Holy, I gotta wrap the seatbelt up there. Okay, I'm excited. Oh,
Just close your eyes. We'll get there quick.
let me see what else we got here. Hunter's Powerlifting Life. Have either of you ever met another person like Scott Mendelson after him? His personality was like no other. He's like Scott. I love Scott. He's a character. He's one of a kind.
He's one of a kind.
Yeah, he's one of a kind. There's no other that compares. That's
there's people can say whatever they want to say until it happens. No matter what Scott did in his lifting the last few years, I still think Scott is the greatest bencher of all time. He's the only man to hold the all-time raw and the all-time equipped. No one else has done it. I'm not saying Julius might not do it some other day, and if I've heard rumors, but if Julius going to do it, he needs to wear a real shirt, because that's going to be a dramatic difference. I mean, you want to beat Scott, beat him the way Scott did it, and beat him that way. But at the same time, Scott was a 300-pound guy, and maybe even under 300 when he did 7. I'm not exactly sure where he was on the raw. But, I think after that, I think Scott just kind of didn't care about records. He just wanted to lift big and go crazy, and if it happened, it happened, I mean, I'm not Scott, but what else did he have to prove?
Yeah, Scott had a lot of balls. I mean, he went out there, and win or lose, he was going to get into that bar, and he was going to give it all he had that day, no matter what happened. And he's got a competitive attitude. I mean, he's just he's a special.
Hey, that's the greatest compliment I ever got from Ken Anderson. What you just said there. But when we lifted at Bench America, and I was doing the 860 opener, and things went the way it went, the next day Ken goes, "Tiny, there's one thing you'll never say is you got the biggest balls of anyone I've ever seen." And I said, "I don't give a fuck. I'm going for it. My mind's set, and that's what we're doing. I mean, that's the game plan. I don't change the freaking game plan. I don't give a damn." So that's what it was.
Remy Shirley, ring the bell. I'm shooting some whiskey. LOL. That's you, Tiny. You got to ring that bell.
So what's this about my mother? All right, her mother.
Let's see. Oh, Mr. Elite Entertainment. Are you reading that, Tiny?
I was reading one that says, Mr. Entertainment, Tiny Meeker, you're inspiration to many. Sorry for the loss of your mother. I believe there's a time we will meet our loved ones again. God bless. And you're absolutely right. I do believe that. For any of y'all that lose someone very close to you, like I did my mom, watch the movie Heaven is for Real, because yes, you'll cry, but you'll definitely help you get over that loss. Because yes, I do believe heaven's for real. And the greatest thing that happened in the movie is supposed to be based on a true story of a little boy that died and went to heaven, but he came back. And probably the most moving scene in the movie is the little boy is talking about his grandfather to his dad, and the father shows him a picture. Is this who he saw? Because he told me, he saw his grandfather in heaven. And he goes, "No, Dad, everyone's young in heaven." And man, I just started bawling, man. It was like, so I guess when I get up there to see Mom, and I promise Mom I won't do anything stupid, even tequila won't get me in trouble. Right. But I promise her I'll be good, and I'll see her in heaven later down the road. So anyway,
that was kind of one of my questions too. Is I wanted to ask you what your favorite movie was of all time, if you had to pick one.
God bless America. That's a hard one. Oh,
our top 3.
Oh man, you know what?
I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but that was
I've watched Slumdog Millionaire probably more than any movie I've ever seen in my life. As funny as that sounds,
I've never seen it. Is it a good movie?
It is an incredible, wonderful movie. It is really, really good. I mean, there's a lot of funny movies, but I've watched Slumdog Millionaire so many freaking times, and it never gets old.
Really? I've never seen it. I like Terminator 2. I like Titanic. Don't ask me why. But
I like the Hooper movie.
The what?
With Hooper.
Okay.
With Burt Reynolds, Stuntman.
What's it called?
Man, y'all gotta watch that movie. That's funny.
Hooper. H-O-O-P-R.
Hooper.
H-U.
Every way but lose. The Green Mile.
Green Mile.
Man, there's so many good movies. I mean, man. But I just know Slumdog Millionaire, for whatever reason, I've watched it so many freaking times. Hey, Clint Eastwood, freaking
Gran Torino.
That's the other one. Which
Gran
one?
Torino?
No, Gran Torino's good, but no, Josie
Outlaw
Wells.
Josie Wales. Is that the one where he chews the beef jerky and spits it?
No, that's another good one where he's coming after the girls. They get the guys that cut up the girl, the prostitute. Yep. No, Josie Wells, he does spit on him too. Yeah. He goes, "Oh, we'll get that out of that soup." Spits on the guy. The
That's
cleaner.
Right. That's right.
That movie's awesome.
Jose Vincent Silva. Hi guys, what are your day jobs aside from lifting? Thanks.
I train people. I own a gym and I train people.
I train people online, and I inherited a dryland wheat, WHEAT, dryland wheat acreage up in central Washington, 300 acres, and I subcontract that out, and then I sell it on the market, and it's profitable at this time. So I have dryland wheat, yada yada yada, and an estate actually, a house on a lake, and inherited that from my grandfather. Miss him dearly. Oh,
And I sell the greatest joint ligament supplements in the world, not only for human but for doggies too. I sell them for doggies as well, and I've been doing that for over 15 years with GLC 2000.
You know, Tiny, I take that same product myself, and like I said, my testimonial 5 years ago with my L5S1 and L1 through L4. I mean, what it did for my back, outside of painkillers, which they had me on and all amped up on. But I started taking that product, and I still got it today. It's expired, but we still take it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Totally.
Well, actually, the expiration date on some of those isn't expiration. It's actually when it was made. So you might want to find out which product you're talking about. I'll let you know. But if it expires, it's not, a lot of times it's not mean it's bad. It just might not be as potent as it would be if it was, around inside the date. But it's incredible products. You'll notice a difference within days, 2 weeks significantly, but it's life changing as you found out. I mean, no one likes to hurt, so I love helping people on that because I hate to be in pain myself, and if you're dealing with injuries, you want to heal fast and get back under that bar as soon as possible.
Okay, next question. You guys should have Scott Mendelson on the podcast someday. You, Tiny, and Scott. It will be a great one. Could we do that, Tiny? Or would we be talking over each other?
I love Scott, but I've had some interesting interviews with Scott before. So, will Scott ever admit that I locked out a lift? That'd be kind of funny. And Scott's always, anytime Scott's going to be around, it's going to be entertaining. That's all I got to say.
Right. Mr. Elite Entertainment, almost a year since Gene Richlack passed away. Time goes fast. Yeah, that's, has it been a year?
Oh, it's been longer than that.
I think, yeah. Jason Wood, do you two go to Scott Mendelson's gym in California?
Never been there.
Scott contacted me on Messenger probably 2 weeks ago, inviting me down in August. I believe he's getting a Kruger shirt, and he wants me to come down in his gym and do his podcast and stuff. He invited me down, so it's just a matter of when it's safe to travel. I don't know if I don't think I've had COVID yet, or maybe I have. I might have had it.
Texas, Cali. I'd go Texas.
I love Texas. Well, we were supposed to come there in April, so. Oh, okay. Alex Estrada got back. Doug Furnass was a professional wrestler and powerlifter from the United States. He was an APF national world champion who set multiple records in the 275-pound class. And I probably knew that, but it's a name you don't hear often, so I'm kind of drawing a blank on it.
Well, looking at his name now, it looks very familiar to me. If we probably had a Powerlifting USA magazine and look at it, we'd probably know exactly who he is. But the name looks familiar to me now.
How about Jumanji? Is that the one? Is that the one with The Rock and Kevin Hart?
Yeah, they did it.
The guy with all the hair.
Yeah, and
don't know him on a personal level. I've seen him at events. I don't think I've ever met him directly. I mean, he seems like a nice guy and a crazy guy, but I don't think I've ever met him.
Thank you for the answer. Hugs from Portugal. Right on. Tiny, how did Mr. Elite Entertainment? Tiny, how did 750 pounds raw feel in your hands?
That's pretty funny, Mr. Entertainment. First of all, if you really want to think about it, we all used to, or still, some of us even do lockouts back in the old days. And lockouts, you're getting in the power rack and the pins are set and you're just pushing it up. And I'm pretty sure you probably did. I've done over 800 pounds that way without a shirt, and it's kind of different now, which is funny, but I bet if we worked with it, it would go more. I think what he's going by is the video where I said I was going to go after a 750 raw
Right.
bench, and that was a joke.
God, you said rack lockouts. Last time I did a rack lockout, it was so long ago. It was only 700 pounds. If I do them now, I'm doing them close grip. It's kind of weird, and usually with bands or chains on them. So
I did it even crazier. I did it floor press lockouts, and we do it at 4 different levels, starting high and working our way down to you couldn't get off the pin at all.
a floor press?
Floor press pin lockouts, and it is brutal.
Dude.
You will be jacked when you're done.
So you have to have a power rack where they adjust like.
Yeah. So you're at the power rack, maybe 4 holes down and 3 holes and 2 holes to where it's maybe an inch or 2 off your chest, and it's all close grip bench as well.
Holy shit! I gotta remember that one. Hunter's Powerlifting Life. I don't know if I can handle hearing bro that many times if Scott comes on. LOL. I love him, but that's hilarity.
Come on, bro.
Hillary trait of his. Yeah. Hey, bro. Hey.
Bro.
Hey,
I love you, bro.
I think he coined the term, bro. This bro.
Love you, bro. Love you, bro. Love you, bro.
Hey, Tiny, what's the single best way to bulk up fast? That's by Vanguard.
Well, Gus Rushwich would tell you to go drink 5 milkshakes.
That's true.
Maybe 10.
That's true.
So
bulk up fast. Well, you got to increase your caloric intake, so calories, I would assume, and it's hard to get that from food, and the only reason I say that is because Mendelsohn told me, you got to have that high-calorie shake in the middle of your solid meals. And when they told me that, my calorie went from, I think, 8,000 to 15. And it was, I don't know, it was rough. I mean, eating that much food in a day. And it was uncomfortable. But
I like that answer, too.
How many meals a day did you eat when you were doing your 1,000-pound bench presses, Tiny? 6 meals, 5 meals? Did you pound food?
Man, probably in those days, maybe 3 or 4 if I was lucky.
Really?
Yeah, because I was real busy and I didn't like to eat when I was busy. But when I went to drop the weight down, that's when I finally got to this point where I was eating 6, 7 times a day. And there were much smaller meals, much cleaner. It was beef and greens. It had to be meat, no pork, and a green. And man, I was all these spinach salads and just stuff like that. Egg white omelets with spinach in it and stuff. But man, I loved it. I put hot sauce and everything. It was really fun. I'd just do it again just to see what I might do. Right. The fact that I can feel big weight and all that again now, but do it and try to drop it down at the same time since we're so far away from anything and see what happens.
Alex Estrada, did you guys ever see C.T. Fletcher compete when he did?
Live? No.
Have you met him?
I met CT. CT's a really nice guy. I actually got a cool video of him calling me one of the greatest benchers of all time, and super nice person. I knew CT when he didn't cuss, okay? When it wasn't motherfucker this, motherfucker that, I love CT. I think he's a super nice guy. He's a hell of a promoter. Was he ever the greatest drug-free bencher of all time? No. But, facts are facts. So there you go.
Right. Let's see. Job Cardenas. Hey, Ryan, do you ever squat or deadlift? What are you looking at me for? Squat, yes.
I'm looking at you, too.
Feel eyes on you.
Hey, man, L5S1, L1 through 4.
We squatted together. He did squat the other day.
My squats are coming up. My back is just not the same as it used to be. I mean, I used to squat 500-600 pounds with knee wraps and loved it. But now it's just, age is catching up and joints and this. I mean, done a lot of wear and tear on my lower lumbar and unfortunately.
So it's the lower part you have your pains with?
What's that?
It's the lower part of your back that you have a problem with?
It's arthritic, the L1 through 4. So contorting my lower lumbar, like in the arch and the bench press, is really hard anymore. It just doesn't want to bend. And I don't live in pain, but I just am putting weight in my back. I mean, I'm just skeptical because I had 315 on there one time, and I was just kind of popping it up, and then my back popped, and for 3 days I was looking for heroin, man. Pain level of 10. I mean, I just cry. Yeah. I just don't. I don't want to squat. I don't have anything to brag about. You'll never see me post a squat video. Not yet, anyway.
Well, here you go, Ryan. I talked to Gary Frank one day after Gary. Actually, it was the same day Hoff did his big lift for the APF Worlds over in Louisiana. I went down there to see him before I went to York Barbell. And I was talking to Gary just after he had his hip replacements done and stuff. And Gary was like, Tony, he was like, you not squatting is probably a blessing in disguise. I go, why do you say that? He goes, because all of us big guys, Ed Cologne, everyone, are all having our hips redone.
Right.
He goes, I'll never squat again. Only thing I'll do is some leg presses and pull every once in a while, but I'll never want to squat again.
And
he goes, so, there you
about
go.
the deadlift, I remember a guy by the name of Bull Stewart at the first Wabdell Worlds in 1997. He was an 800-pound deadlifter at 242, and I walked over to him and I met him and I said, man, I want to be just like you. I want to pull 800 pounds. And he goes, Ryan, if you want to bench press big, don't deadlift. He told that's true story. I don't. If I train it, it's with her just to do it. I mean, I'm not a big deadlifter. I'm not. When I set out to do this, man, I wanted the biggest arms and the biggest bench. I mean, that's.
You should train like deadlifts.
Yeah. I know, Tiny. I've seen you put the Inzer canvas on and do 700 like an empty bar, and I don't know if I'll ever do that, but I watch your videos, so I know you handle some weight in there. Do you deadlift, Tiny?
Yeah, I do deadlifts, but I got to tell you a Bull Stewart story. My second Wabdell Worlds ever, I went there, and I missed my first 2 attempts, and on my third attempt, I'm about to go. Remember, I've never met Bull Stewart in my life until earlier in that day. I got introduced, took a picture with him. We did double bicep pose, which was funny because he has biceps, I don't. But anyway, Bill goes on the stage, and we're talking about Wabdell. This is what I love about Wabdell is here I at the time was kind of a nobody in some ways. And he walks on the stage, starts yelling on the stage, hey, y'all get behind this lifter. He needs to make this lift. And the crowd all stood up, started cheering. And lo and behold, I made 606. And I came right back and went for a 6'11". If I would have got it, I was going to beat Bill Gillespie, who got first. And it was kind of funny because during the awards, we're sitting out there and I was sitting behind Bill, kind of chat with him. And he was telling me, he goes, man, I'm sitting in the audience and I hear next lifter, Tiny Meeker, going for 6'11". I was like, what is this kid doing? I said, what am I doing? I was trying to break your fucking record. That's what I was doing.
What year was that, Tiny?
Oh, man, that was the second year of Wabdell. So either, 98, 99, right? Possibly, But with Bull, I mean, that was one of the greatest things. Now, as for me deadlifting, I don't like to pull off the floor anymore because my lower back issues, my sciatic nerve issues, rack pulls, I will go heavy as hell. I really want to do a rack pull with over 800 pounds eventually is what my goal is. Off the ground, I always wanted to do 7. I still do some heavy-ass trap bar deadlifts. I'll go over 700 that way. But I love to do them still.
When you pull in the rack, are you using straps or are you using grip?
Some days are different. Some days I can do it without. I just recently started doing straps recently because my problem is I can't turn the hand around. So when I'm getting extremely heavy, I'm doing double overhand. I can't do that thumb stuff these guys are doing. So I'll use straps on that and pull it that way. Now, leg press, I'll go freaking heavy as hell. I'll go over 1,500 on leg press for over 10 reps and stuff.
Damn, son.
There's Ronnie Coleman. Highway, baby.
Let's see. Jason Wood. Ryan, what gym did you lift at? I met you in Moses Lake during the time you set the world record. You still there? I have a house up there. I don't live there anymore. The gym I trained at up there was called Sleek Physique, and it was owned by a guy by the name of Todd Scott. And that's where I trained. Let's see. It took me back to memory lane. Oh.
You saw that too. Anyway.
So Vanguard says that's true, Ryan. Kirill said the same thing about deadlifts. I didn't know that. I didn't know. I know Kirill, he can deadlift a shit pot, I think, right? He's done a 3-lift meet, like 20-something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I might be wrong.
He's also like 6'7".
380 pounds. That's a monster. Wow.
No, he's shredded. He's got ripped abs.
He's doing movies now, isn't he? Or
I don't know. Yeah, I was going to get some... what's those called? Those foam pipe protectors. I was going to put them in there, and I was going to look like I ripped abs and say I was coming after Scott Middleton.
Vanguard. Hey, Tiny or Ryan, have you guys been approached by pro wrestling? You both are stronger than any of those guys. I'm a pro wrestling fan. I have a story. Have you ever, Tiny? No, I've had dinner with Animal before and some other people, but if I've been talked to about pro wrestling, it wasn't on the pro level. It was more like your
bingo hall.
Right.
So that's about
Well,
it.
back in the day when I benched the 800, I'll try to shorten this story up. Glenn Chabot was auditioning for. He had a contract really, and my understanding is Glenn Chabot injured himself in practice in wrestling, broke his ankle, and then my name came up. And long story short, a friend who knew Hulk Hogan's son in Florida had showed them my book that I wrote and that, and Hulk Hogan said through his son, through this kid, that I had the look, and he was based that off of the cover of my Benchmonster book. My understanding, Glenn Chabot told me that the contract he was offered at the time was $230,000 a year, and it was for dark matches. So I'm not saying that contract was totally offered to me, but my name was being thrown around. But then I was weighing it out. I was like, I just benched 800. I love pro wrestling. Do I want to be a pro wrestler where I'm on the road every day, hotel, that lifestyle? And I've never pro wrestled in my life. I mean, it's scripted, yes, but I mean, we've talked about that before. I mean, you gotta sell punches, and it's not as easy as it looks sitting on the couch.
They're really impressive.
I don't know. Those guys are warriors, man. Some of the road schedules they have and such. I mean, they make good money too, but it's I don't know. Pro wrestling would have been.
I got a friend they're talking to her, and I think the control of her life is so dramatic. She's already kind of who's who. I'm not gonna say her name and stuff, but she's very big in her country. She's kind of like the Trish Stratus of her country and stuff. And they're talking about she'll have no control over social media, all these different things, and she already is a name. So it's kind of a difficult situation for her. But if it's life changing, I could see that. But if it's not going to change your life and you have to give up all those things where you're dramatically going to be compensated, getting money, I don't see what the purpose is. You know what I mean?
I think it's like anything. You got to have a passion to do it. And, like John Cena, that guy has a passion. And The Rock and Triple H and all those people. But it's just, it's a crazy lifestyle, man. And my hats off to those guys, how they do it. And Mark Henry, he's a professional wrestler. And him and I, butted heads. But I know, Tiny, you met Mark Henry back in the day, and you said he was cool. The only Mark Henry I know, Tiny, is at the Arnold, and he was always on his period every time I saw him. And he was bitching at people, cussing at people. That's the only Mark Henry I know, man. I'm sure he's got a sweet side to him.
I think, it's like I told you. I think everyone has their good or bad days or their moments, and trying to get through that crowd at the Arnold can make you go crazy sometimes too. Most of the times I've had my encounters with Mark was on a plane or about to get on a plane. I think one of my funniest ones was I was standing in line with Robert Oberst, and Mark Henry's at the gate, and Robert goes, "Hey, Mark, you're sitting beside Tiny." And he turns and looks at me and goes, "Oh, hell no." But he was just lying. And then last time I saw him, we had a cool conversation because I was telling him I was going to go to Stark Center and see the museum at UT Stadium. And I said, I'm going to try to donate some stuff there. And Mark goes, "Well, Tiny, you want to live forever?" And I was first kind of like, "What?" He goes, "You want to live forever?" I go, "What do you mean live forever?" He goes, "Well, you get in the museum, you'll live forever." And I thought that was pretty cool that he said that, and I took a note. But when I went and visited, I told him I had the actual bar where I did all the world record reps with. John Enzer gave it to me, and I had my wraps and my shirts that I did certain records into, including the reps. And I was willing to donate that to the museum if they wanted it. So still waiting to see if that might happen. Terry Todd passed away, so his wife's kind of taken over, and I'm not sure who else is involved, but man, I'm telling you, when you walk in there and you see the history, York Barbell is incredible. Okay, I've never been to York. York has an incredible museum, but when you go inside the Stark, you'll see stuff from the freaking 1800s, dumbbells, weights. You'll see the stone that Jill Mills lifted when she won the world's strongest woman. There's just all kinds of stuff from powerlifting, strongman, Olympic lifting, and so on. I mean, it's a huge, huge museum. And then if you're given the tour, you get to go behind the scenes and see some things that's not out there that will blow your mind even more. It's an incredible place.
It's a plan. Remy Shirley, do you watch slap boxing? Krill is the host. I've seen that on Facebook or YouTube, where you just slap the shit out of somebody. I don't know if I would. I don't know. That's a little. Would you do it, Tiny?
I don't know, man. If I got to go first, maybe. That's that, man. I've watched that a few times. That one dude's a pretty badass, and I saw him get knocked out finally. But the guy that's the champ. But that's a brutal. So I watched this humongous black guy the other day get hit, and he just went. I was like, imagine me the other guy going, shit.
Yeah, you could. I don't know, man.
I had to drink a lot of tequila before I did that. That's all I got to say.
You got to have a strong neck and traps to absorb shots like that, I would assume. So.
Well, I haven't seen many of them look exactly in great shape, so I'm not sure if that's exactly
true. That's an intense thing, man.
The guy with the arms was in it once.
Remy Shirley, speaking of Robert Oberst, did you guys ever piss around with strongman implements?
No.
Me either. Only reason I say that, one of my training partners tried to flip an 800-pound tire and ripped his bicep and had to have it screwed back in place, so I didn't really... that was another thing, too, was strongman kind of took off when I did the 800 bench, and everybody was doing the stones and this, and that just didn't interest me, because a lot of it has nothing to do with bench pressing. It's all legs, back, and conditioning, and, very, very few lifts do you actually bench press, so strongman really didn't intrigue me. It's fun to watch, though. Hey, I
love watching it. I just think I'm way too short for it. Just my opinion.
Yeah, a lot of those guys are tall. They're beast fully men, that's for sure. What else we got here? Oh,
you can answer that one if you want.
I was passing through a few of them here. I'm not going to answer every question. Let's see. Well, Jason Wood, is Tiny Meeker or Will Brody the world record holder? Jason Wood wants to know. If you asked me, Tiny, you're a world record holder, and Will Brody is a world record holder in the next division of shirts. That's my opinion. So, if that is how
so, the best way I'll answer it is this: I agree with what you're saying, but if you want to say it is what it is, Will's the all-time world record holder, and that's what it means. It's just like if it was Raw or this and that. The Raw guy's not benching more than the shirt guy. Well, he's the next generation shirt, but it's still the all-time world record. I've said it a million times. I got no problem saying it. Will, he's the man right now.
Okay. Robert is a great guy. When I was at Muscle Shack, he would teach me old school tricks.
Robert Oberst.
What's he like? What's he like, Tiny? Is he a nice guy?
He's a really nice guy. He's a huge guy. He's 6'8" as well. Real fun guy. Real nice. My business partner Nathan was his nutritionist for a while. I've met him at my therapist, Dr. Evans, out in the Woodlands a couple times, and Robert's always been really cool.
Oh, cool. Scott Mab, how you doing, Scott?
Hi, Scott.
Yeah, fan. Tiny, do you get acupuncture done at all?
Sometimes. I haven't done it lately. What's funny? Second year at Wobble Worlds when I had the flu. We actually did, which was the third year of Wobble Worlds, but it was my second time to go. We did acupuncture on my face because I had the flu, and they helped me out. Other than that, my doctors had done it a few times on me, but once I had the car wrecks, he was doing a bunch of other different stuff. Dennis Evans in the Woodlands here in Houston is incredible, but he has things I have no idea what the heck he's doing. But from deep tissue to ultrasounds. But there's all these other new stuff he's been doing lately, which is doing really good. But I haven't had any acupuncture done in a while. I'll let John Inter do acupuncture on me, by the way.
Really?
Dude, I went to visit John and Tiny, do you mind if I did acupuncture on your arm? Sure. I let John do acupuncture.
Oh, shit. Wow.
I have no idea if he's still it or not, but hey, it worked out.
But deep tissue, rolfing, anything like that? Is that common practice?
I do deep tissue very often. As a matter of fact, even though my chiropractor is my chiropractor, he does more deep tissue stuff and other things than he does on adjustments. In my honest opinion, when I started getting a lot of deep tissue done, I almost never saw my regular chiropractor again.
Really?
I think there's something different about deep tissue. Deep tissue, I think it really gets into the knots, and once you start opening those knots up, that's when you really start healing and seeing things. When you get adjusting, this is just my opinion, you're in a perfect line, but sometimes you make the wrong move, and all of a sudden you're out of whack again. With the deep tissue, man, everything just really starts coming back. But you don't want the deep tissue on the same day you want to go heavy, or the day before because you're going to become weak.
Right. I remember when I had deep tissue done, I was advised to take a week off from heavy benching because I had the front worked on one day and then the rear worked on one day. But definitely helped blood flow, and I had a lot of knots and who knows what else. I mean, over the years of doing this crazy stuff. So, yeah. How often?
I was at the NASA Worlds one year, and they had a deep tissue massage therapist, and she starts working on me. She's digging in there. She goes, "So how'd you do today?" I said, "Oh, I didn't lift yet." She goes, "Oh, you didn't lift yet?" It's like, huh? I had no clue about what was about to happen. I go do my lifts, get the lift off, just drops on me, and there was like nothing there to hold the lifts.
Holy crap!
But lesson learned: don't do deep tissue before you go heavy.
Oh no, dangerous. Remy Shirley, Tiny, how tall are you? When I watch your videos, you always look as wide as a house.
Well, I'm as wide as a house. I'm just not tall.
You're 5'10", Tiny?
Yeah, I'm 5'10".
Okay, yeah, I'm 6'2", so yeah. I wish I was 5'10". Man, I don't know why I got so tall. I'm taller than my parents. It's really weird. So
I'll switch.
Yeah, want to switch?
I'd rather be tall.
Ah,
I'd play any sport I wanted to, in my opinion, if I was in the 6'3", 6'4" range.
yeah, but this trade-off is, man, you got to push that bar a lot further. I don't like that, but
I walk into doors all the time, so I'll trade it all.
oh, can't see that. Holy crap! So Tiny, 9:30. What's the time in Texas? 11:30.
It's 11:30.
Holy crap!
Wow.
We've been doing this for a while.
We still got 28 people watching. Yay! Thank you, everybody.
Loyal followers.
Yeah, hell
loyal
yeah.
Fans.
But yes, that's interesting. Holy crap!
Oh wait, Ryan, you got a question
Uh-oh.
there.
Ryan, what was your best in a denim before switching? What did I do? Did the 800 in a denim, and I think I did an 855 in a denim, and then switched to the Rage X. And
Did Scott do 1,000 in a denim or only 9s?
myself?
No, Scott. What did Scott do in a denim? Did he do
Yeah,
900?
he did well at his show when he did it on stage. You were there. I wasn't there. He did it in a denim. It was 1,003.
That was a denim,
Yep.
wasn't it?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was in Rage X. Yeah. See, that's impressive. That's impressive.
850 is my best, and then Rage X, and then the Phenom, obviously. So, man,
I think the most I ever did in denim may have been 716, I think. And then I switched to Rage and 8, 9, almost 1,000, and 947 in a double ply.
right?
And 948 and then double ply. And then, of course, Super went to a whole nother level.
Jason Wood, great seeing you two together, two of the greatest benchers of all time. And he says good night. See ya. Awesome, Jason. Thanks for staying with us tonight, man. This is probably the longest
thank you for
broadcast we've
watching.
ever done.
Definitely.
And I hope there's no, Tiny, we're going to have to do it again because I'm sure there's questions we missed, and I'm sure there's questions. So we'll have to have a Tiny Meeker part two.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely do that. But
Definitely down.
yeah, if not, hey, like you said a few weeks ago, maybe the next episode will be at your house or your gym. We'll film it there. We never know. I mean, never say never. I mean, maybe this COVID thing would end in a month, and the next thing you know, I'm flying down to Houston, and we're doing some crazy things down there. So
That'd be
I
very
think people
cool.
might like to see that. I'm just I hope it all worked out, and the audio and everything was okay. So
It's an excellent connection. already.
excellent connection on our internet connection. So yeah, I think everything worked out pretty good. So
There's another.
well, Tiny,
Let's try to see what my arms look like on the video.
Huge.
huge.
There is one more question.
Hey, Tiny, you hungry? What are we gonna eat after this? I'm kind of hungry.
Well,
What do you got in the fridge? What's in Tiny's fridge? Got some red meat in there somewhere. Chicken?
there's a lot of chicken pasta.
Ooh, that looks
yeah.
yummy.
Okay. Is that shredded cheese there
Where?
in that container? It looks like shredded cheddar.
Where?
This?
No, in the container you just sat down.
No, just chicken pasta.
Oh, chicken
no, no,
pasta.
no.
Okay.
Oh, pasta and chicken.
Looks really good.
Lots of spinach, hummus. Water.
Hummus. Okay.
There's a lot of bangs.
What bang flavor you got in there, Tiny?
I'm gonna get in trouble.
Nothing wrong with that.
Ooh, yum.
King size ones are freaking huge. Look at how thick that is.
Don't get me
Yeah,
started. And you
pretty
keep it
thick.
refrigerated too.
Arm. It's almost as thick as my arm.
Oh, that's nice. Okay.
That looks good. I'm
Hey,
starving.
what bang flavor in there?
Well, they're just kind of. That's a black cherry.
I like that
vanilla.
one. How about rainbow unicorn?
No, my favorite bang. What's my favorite bang?
Orange dreamsicle.
That's a rain.
My
That's
favorite
rain.
bang is my favorite one's the grape.
Grape's
Oh,
good.
the grape. Yeah, absolutely. Pina colada.
Grape's
I
good.
love
Starburst.
I love the grape.
Oh,
That's a good one.
those are good in the
Power
morning.
Punch.
But honestly, I do not drink many energy drinks at all. I really, really don't. They're in there for my friends that come over. I really don't touch them after AFib.
Yeah.
Smart.
That happened to me too, AFib one time, and it's a scary thing. They got to put you under, and then they got to shock you back to life. It's a weird thing, but caffeine can definitely do that to you, stimulants and whatnot. So yeah, those are things to steer away from for sure.
Stress. Too.
What's that?
Stress can too.
Yes, absolutely.
Stress? No shit.
Grape is gross. Aaron, you're going to do 50 push-ups when I see you on Thursday. You missed Sunday's workout. I see your listening. Grape is awesome. You suck. Anyway, sorry to get off there. 100 push-ups.
Oh shit, gonna be in trouble.
Somebody got himself into trouble.
You got herself in trouble. Love you, Aaron.
Hilarious.
So you got some chicken pasta. Is that what's for dinner?
Yeah, with the where's my sauce?
Oh, that looks so good. I wish we had that.
Get this from HEB in Houston. This stuff is
Little bit more
delicious.
to the right, Tiny. Get it in the camera for me. Other way.
Oh yeah.
There you go. Further. Where do you get that stuff at?
HEB.
Okay.
Is there HEB?
No, not at all. Have to order it online.
Yeah, they sell this stuff, and they got a chicken enchilada soup that's incredible too. So
Well, so basically what you're saying is when I come down, we're going to eat well.
yes, we are. We're in Texas. Got
Okay.
to.
Nice.
I'm excited. I love food.
Yes, me too.
Now let the diet go out the window for a while.
Lots of good restaurants in Texas. Of everything. Actually, you know where we're gonna go? We're gonna go see Harjeet at his Indian restaurant and have some Indian food. I'm telling you, you're gonna be freaking blown away. My buddy's a chef. He's one of my teammates. He's been to Wobble Worlds a bunch of times. He's the one that took me to India. Harjeet's restaurant is incredible in Sugarland, Texas.
I have not had Indian food. I'm very curious.
I love it, man. Love it. And then we'll have some sushi.
I love sushi.
Not me.
We'll go. Oh yeah. You'll have sushi, Ashley.
I have chicken teriyaki. That's what I'll order.
Remy wants to know: do you sell supplements for dogs? What dog breeds you got? I'm assuming that's the GLC product, or is it a CBD product, or?
Yep.
Oh, Accustatin.
Accustan for canine. And your dog, this is for any size dog, so it has whatever their body weight is on there, just like the other products we sell for the humans. But you'll see a difference on your dog within days and 2 weeks, just like the human product. It'd be dramatically different for your animals. It is. I had a dog that had to get help on and off the couch, and it was crying, trying to get on, and now it's jumping on off the couch again. And so
that's awesome.
all the products are great for arthritis. The only thing you got to worry about, I don't know about dogs on it, but for the humans, as long as they're not allergic to shellfish, it is great
Now,
products.
is that product a doggy treat or something? Is it a little?
Your dog will think it's for you. Hey, now I'll pull my dogs out right now and show you. They'll eat this thing like it's the greatest thing in their life, and they don't even know it's good for them.
What kind of dogs do you have, Tiny? We have cats here, unfortunately. So.
I have a Min Pin and a Chihuahua.
Oh wow.
Oh, hey, have you ever been to meet? Yeah, I'm actually put on a meet also on June. As long as everything goes well, March 20th, 2021, I will put on the IPA Bench Press and Deadlift World
In Houston?
in Houston.
Wow.
There's some big money going to be given out at that meet for world records, and we're looking at possibly giving out over $15,000 plus $1,000 bonuses for breaking all-time world records.
Wow.
Where will that meet be at in Houston? Will it be at a venue of some sort?
I'll be at the Nathaniel Center in Kingwood, Texas, right down the street from Monster Gym.
Yeah, I like to think we'll be out of the COVID thing by then, and most likely, hopefully, definitely. Oh, well, we'll take a few more questions, Tiny. We'll shut it down. I'm starving. Like tequila's got me, and I'm ready to eat. I mean, usually we do this show from 7 to 8, and but I don't want to leave these fans hanging. But what's Jason Gillian's power gem? He says, "Hey, Tiny, how long did you do the car presses?"
That actually is a true story. When I used to bounce in nightclubs, I used to get underneath my Chevy Nova and bench press the back end of it. And Chevy Nova looked like a little Toyota Corolla back then. And actually, a funny story: I was outside one of the after hours clubs, and I was doing it a couple of times, and some hot girls were walking by, and my friend James was screaming, "Hey, look over here!" And I couldn't get it up. It was horrible.
You used to get under a car and press it?
I used to get underneath my cars and press them.
Damn. I remember.
Actually, started off at Huacho Conoco in Humble, Texas. We're sitting there, and my friend's dad was like, "Hey, Tiny, you ever try to bench press your car?" I go, "No, never tried it. Let's try it out." I got under it, and lo and behold, I pressed it.
Nice.
I came out of a bar once and picked up the front end of a Baja bug just to impress people. It wasn't much. It was a deadlift. I mean, that's
So
all.
you deadlift.
Well, I was.
Nice.
See, you did deadlift.
Hey,
Yay!
I was a younger man then. That was 2002, back when everything was working and there was no injuries. And if you did get injured, you healed in 2 weeks. Now it's 6 months on the sidelines, man. It's a shit show. So, yeah, injuries suck.
I already know it's Anthony Cart from Vanguard.
Yeah. Wow. Tiny. Let's eat. I'm starving. Yeah. I'm ready. I'm ready for dinner. I'm ready for dinner, man. It's 9:30 and my stomach's growling. And if I do another one of these, it's I'll be in the hospital. Hey, but it's been fun, and we'll definitely do it again. So, and always bring the tequila, man.
Tiny, the first ever
guest.
Ever.
I talked a good game for a long time, and I talked about having a guest, but you said you wanted to be the first guest, and I didn't want to pressure you. You know, I was like, the next thing you know, you wanted to do it, and I was like, we practiced it, and hell yeah, it worked, and we'll definitely do it.
This was the first time. What are you talking about?
Yeah, we're gonna have a Tiny Meeker part 2.
Smooth.
Yeah, the next time.
They're asking for it. I see that.
They are.
We'll do
Next
it.
time we're drinking some beer. I'm gonna try this Modelo. It's a UFC sponsored beer, isn't it?
Sure. Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Hey, and there's a UFC fight tomorrow. Masvidal and Osama. Who you picking in that fight? Masvidal took it on a 2 weeks notice, so
I'm going with him. He's got too much. He's too hardcore right now.
He's
so
the
I'm gonna go with him.
BMF. You know, he's got the belt, right? Okay.
That is what
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. I think it'll be a battle. I can't pick a winner in that. I saw on Facebook today somebody said, did anybody want to bet on that? I wouldn't bet because it could go either way. I mean, they're both badasses, man. Anything can happen. You know, it's hard to predict UFC fights anymore because it's well, not some of them anyway. But those guys are
He's so relaxed now. That's why I think he's so dangerous. He is so chilled and relaxed. And to me, sometimes when you're the fighter, just like the lifter, when you're that relaxed person, that's when you got to be worried about.
That's true.
Because you know they're that damn good.
confidence, man. You know, it's a big thing.
Confidence, everything. Because just like when you lay on that bench, if you're already doubting, you're already in
That's
trouble.
exactly right. Yep. And many times where yep, you're absolutely right. Laid on the bench and kind of doubted it, and it didn't happen. But when you get under there and you're confident, and 99% of the time it goes up. That's for sure.
My forearms are 20. My triceps are 23. There you go, Remy.
God, I think my forearms are 18 and a half. The last time I checked, but
Really?
yeah, I'm all skinny now though. 290. I'm not. When I was 357, I had 23 and a quarter arms. I almost hit the Hulk Hogan 24. They didn't look like Hulk Hogan's, but
Well, I just put synthol in these the other
that looks
day,
beautiful.
So they're kind of moving a little
Yep.
bit.
yeah, you got the ham hocks on the side too, man. You got some.
See, you didn't know
Yeah,
that? You
yeah.
didn't know that?
That's the.
They're there.
That's the lazy head. Louis says this is the lazy head. The bench comes from here, so I don't know. I think they all work in unison. I mean, all right, Tiny. Hey,
It's been fun, man.
this has been an enjoyable experience.
It's been a very good interview.
I was excited all day. Like this is the priority of my day today was to make this happen.
I'm excited about this.
And it did. And I hope it went well. And I hope I didn't
It went good.
mumble enough words. I'm gonna blame this, and I'm gonna blame you, Tiny, because you got me on this tequila kick now, and this is a bad habit. Kids, don't let this happen to you. I don't care what they're saying. This is not.
Next time we see you, man. Look how big on your bench press. You can do it. Yeah, you can do it. I'll be right back. I dropped my bottle.
Oh, too many nights like that, Tiny. Too many nights. Let me tell you. Back in the day. Holy shit.
Look, we still got 22 people watching.
I know, I'm impressed.
My God, it's got to be 7 in the morning somewhere in this world. Jeez.
Somewhere.
Yeah. All right, Tiny, I'm going to shut this down. And like I say, we will do it again when the time is right. And
they're asking for part 2.
They're asking for part 2. We'll sit down. We'll cover some different topics that we may have missed. And we'll come up with a host of questions for you on our end. And like I said, pick a few out of the chat box also. And just have fun with it, man. I hope you had an enjoyable time. And we love to have you back. And sooner than later, you know.
I enjoyed it very much. And again, I want to say, if anyone out there has a gym, wants us to come out and do a seminar, Ryan and myself, we will put on a excellent one-on-one, well, not one-on-one, but hands-on, seminar to make you all the best lifters you can ever be.
Tiny, I did a seminar. I'm trying to shut this down, but you said seminar. I did a seminar in Alaska. Where were we? Kenai, Alaska, way up there. And it went 5 hours long, Tiny. I haven't done a seminar in a while, and I just covered A through Z, and I only got to like T, and they had to shut me down. So, I mean, I cover so much, because I'm assuming we're speaking to beginners, so there's just a whole conglomerate of information to cover. We can't just hop in at intermediate level. We have to cover the beginner lifters, and there's so much information. So I think you and I could feed off each other. And if we structured it well, and I think it could be a good thing. How long do you think a seminar would go hour-wise with you and I? I mean, can we predict that?
Depending on what the crowd is, I mean, I think for sure 3 to 4 hours.
And would we do some after we spoke? Would we do some one-on-one with each individual person?
That's what I meant. I'd like to hands-on, let people see the form and understand it more. Whether it's working on shirts and all that, and we're feeling great. You never know. We might do a little exhibition as well.
That'd be fun. Because everybody's got a different bench form. Some people bench with their feet back. Some people, don't pinch their shoulder blades. Some people bring the bar to their neck. So there's so much technical stuff for every lifter is different. So that's the fun part of it. It's thrilling to pass that knowledge down, because I don't know about you, Tiny, but when I was coming up, there was nobody doing bench press seminars. I mean, I had to learn from bodybuilding magazines how to train, how to do rep sets until Powerlifting USA. And then I remember Greg War. That's a name you haven't heard in a while. Greg War. He had a bench press routine in there.
Yep. Remember Greg War?
My first trip to Texas, he was there. Remember? Yep. He was like 140 pounds and benched 411 or something. Wow. Remember that? Is that the wrong body weight?
Greg was probably 132 or 148. He was probably a 500-something pound bench presser.
Jeez, that's unreal.
And he was a beast, man. I mean, that was a great meet, man. Met you, met Greg War, John Inzer was there, Ricky Dale Crane was there, if I remember correctly.
Gus.
Oh, can't forget Gus. Absolutely.
A lot of big names back then with Wild Bill meets.
I'm glad I've never been on a plane before in my life, and I'm glad Gus pressured me to get on a plane. I remember when I did the 580 or 617 bench up here, he's like, you need to go to Texas and go against the Hawaiians and Tiny Meeker. And I'm like, that's what he told me. And he's getting me all amped up about it. And I show up there, and Frank Wakakua's there, you're there, and I didn't fare too well. I did 585, and it was a hell of a time getting it on a third attempt, but we had fun that night too. Tiny, was that the night? Because I had the long hair at the time, if you can believe that.
That's when I was my buddy Doug. Yes, it is. He got in the Corvette.
With the blonde girl in the tube dress, and she's in the passenger, and ballsy me hops into the driver's side of the Corvette, and he was the ultimate fighter.
Yes.
What was I drinking that night? I must have had balls that night, Tiny. What was I drinking that night? Shit.
We were drinking a lot of stuff that night.
Kamikazes, I think. I don't know.
But there was a lot of jerks out that night too. But we still had fun. Doug Hickfang took us around that night.
Hey, do you remember we had to go to your house and I had to get those weird shoes to wear because you had to have dress shoes to get in that club, and I had to get those little half boots?
That was at Doug's house. Doug's house because he's the one that had small feet. And I had to do the same thing with him in Canada because I forgot my shoes. I had to borrow his shoes again. Doug was told he had really small feet. Sorry, Doug.
Yeah. I remember we had to get those shoes, and they were a pain in the ass to walk in, but they got us in the club, and it was a cool club. I remember these days, man. These trips down memory lane. That was...
Well, the good part is if Houston clubs are open, you don't have to dress that fancy anymore.
Thank God.
It's like you can wear shorts and shit
Oh,
now.
cool. That's cool. Holy shit! All right, Tiny. Hey, this time I swear we're shutting it down. We're gonna go eat dinner, and we're gonna do this shit again, man. And this has been fun.
Hell no, we won't go.
Hell no, we won't go. We won't shut this down all night long.
Ooh, woo.
Yeah.
Damn, I thought it was Middleton. Bro, relax.
I'm getting excited. Yeah. The guave is really kicking. Yeah. I'm having a hell of a time over here. This has been fun, man.
It's been very fun.
I had a great time, Ryan. Definitely will do it again, and I'm glad everyone enjoyed it as well too. And Ashley, thank you so much.
No, my pleasure. It's been fun.
We'll see y'all down here in Texas very soon.
Definitely.
We'll have a great time.
All right, one last thing. Ring that bell, and then we're shutting this down, Tiny.
Oh, good. That means we get another
No!
one? Sweet.
Just ring the bell.
Oh, man.
Oh.
Yeah,
All right, Tiny, good night. Have a good night. And good night,
Tiny.
everybody.
Good night, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in and sticking with us this long. We appreciate it.
God bless.
See you next week.
Stay strong.
Is he still on?